Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 57 of the Oot Cast. I am Omen, and I am joined by the traditional hosts of the show, Rayze and Techno.
Yo,
Very nice. Welcome to have
really?
me back,
Yes, he
Omen.
gets to do. He's the third time he's on, so he gets to do the intro. Very well done. Thank you
Seems to
very
be
much.
a running
yes,
tradition now. We'll do it.
yes, we make these traditions on the fly, as one should always should. Right, welcome to
always.
57, ladies and gentlemen. We have, I wouldn't say a lot to get through in terms of like scale, but it's very dense. There's going to be a lot of talk of philosophy and heavy on the theory crafting in a very we don't have that much information and we're just kind of guessing way.
Sure.
The
Where
ramifications.
ramifications for sure. Where we go next chapter, specifically what's going to happen, very not sure. Anything could happen.
But
really.
yes, we open on Hebe asking Tsukiko the question, do you know?
We get a cliffhanger last chapter and then immediately know what?
Know what?
I see. Never mind.
Now, we already have a lot to talk about with that.
This is something literally that I wanted to point out. The other goddesses don't do this. They remain separate while still having constituent shards around.
Yeah.
Tsukiko.
Stop here.
Oh.
No, not you. Techno, so you can talk about it.
Okay. Tsukiko basically discorporates into her shards. She doesn't remain a distinct entity.
Well, she refused. She sees herself, as she mentions before, she sees herself as the sum of her parts, rather than the parts just being tiny pieces of her that are broken away and will always come back and are not independent entities, which is how the other goddesses, even Orkso, sees things. Hebe disagrees with that quite vehemently, as we saw last chapter. Mm-hmm. But yes, Hebe asks, Tsukiko, what the, do you know? And she says, know what? And our best guess, or my best guess, I don't really want to force someone to speak for everyone, is she is talking about whether Tsukiko is aware of Elena's plan. That I think that she has, as we talked about in the chapter 56 Oot Cast, she has been told of through a combination of Kei and Misaki's memories.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's our best. That's my best guess.
Most likely, considering she brings it up again with Misaki and
yes,
it's foreshadowed.
And also the way she talks to CJ and manipulates events throughout this chapter, it definitely
to try to get him to prepare him to understand.
Yeah, I'll be talking about a couple of other pieces of media for this, particularly the Matrix.
Know thyself.
Know thyself stuff. So yeah, and it shouldn't be surprising though, because Buddhism is a key part of both this story setting and style and the Matrix is. So, but yes, also bonus point if you go back just a little bit. Look at Mizzy's upgrade! Oh my god!
Of course, yeah.
And notice how intensely Vic style she is with this. With the purple highlights, the glasses, which are very Vic, and just her whole demeanor and stance. This shows that I think that the death of Kei has dramatically affected not just Mizzy, not just in a grief sense, but it's really
hard.
What
having glasses on in Oot means
exactly, especially when they're Vic style ones, when Vic has all the baggage that she
non-problematic Vic here. Nobody has any reason to hate her.
Yes, true that. But no, it's not. I do like Mizzy's glow up. No joke. It's
really nice. Sure.
And it's really interesting to see that she's also it's not clear whether she's done it herself or whether it's a carryover from. There's Mikan. A carryover from Jamie's upgrade.
I really do like this. How she's like, I am aware of your bodyguards, and I really don't mean you harm.
Not that Tsukiko could hurt her, at all.
Right, but
as is soon established by Lindsay in this chapter.
Yeah.
This isn't like a fragment of a goddess. Because Hebe is still in harmony with herself, any given piece of Hebe that you encounter directly is as powerful as the rest. Yep. Which is just terrifying to contemplate.
Lindsay says something like
Mizue says you are hiding something, and she's right. It's just not what Mizue thinks it is.
I think it's kind of like trying to look at a picture through like a cardboard tube. You just can't see all of it at once. It's obscured just because of the size.
I like that Mizue is taking on the role. Like I think this in many ways is the first time we fully realize how Jamie and Mizzy embody two different sets of aspects inherited from the goddesses, in a sense.
Do we ever get an explanation as to why there are not a lot of Hebe shards? Did she ever address that? Because she does say that she had more than one that wasn't just Ashley. It was just her greatest shard was Ashley Prime.
I strongly suspect the moment she went behind the shield, the seal, she stopped manifesting them in all but the most extreme circumstances.
Okay, I'm fine with that answer, guess, whatever.
Like Misaki
exists and Ashley, and the only Ashley.
I suspect the only reason Misaki exists is because of the sheer power of the pull of having Cameron and the Four Rings and all that stuff in play. Like like that whole bloodline probably only exists because of that. But yeah, I do like how Mizzy and like Jamie now are fulfilling like Mizzy is literally being passionate, aggressive, focused. She's Capo and Kione.
Dark side of the moon.
Yeah, the dark side of the moon. Jamie is temperate, insightful.
My fucking theory, it's coming true.
Yeah, no, your theory is coming true. It really is.
Everybody, it's fucking insane.
But that's a point that Hebe makes herself. Is that the more you look for the divisions and differences between people, the less
there are. Yeah.
That's like the core point. Like everyone is an individual, but at the same time, everyone's individuality is made up of the same parts that just express themselves differently.
My chapter 100 theory is coming true. I'm fucking convinced it's gonna.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's a good. It was a great call. But yeah, they undo their promise by their own actions. I think is interesting. That I suspect may be related to the the emergence of Mara and the danger they represent.
I love this though. Here, let me go ahead and throw you under the bus real quick, Lindsay. Someone has the power to actually deceive you.
And then Lindsay.
Huh?
We do learn an interesting fact about Lindsay's power in this as well.
Yeah.
That she only really can manifest them when she's a curious herself.
I think that's spot on for Hebe, though. The desire to understand.
The desire to know. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Exactly.
I think Hebe and Tsukiko get along perfectly fine, considering they both one
explains why Hebe keeps
one just wants
popping
to
up
hide
through the
in plain. Hebe just wants to hide in the shadows, and then Tsukiko
but she also likes to pop up during the way she pops up during the sex scenes to egg everybody on. Basically, is very. It works, right?
So it makes sense because I forgot to mention what I thought about that when we talked about that earlier. Is it makes sense? I mean, after all, with her connection to fairies and how sexual the fairies have all been, every single one of them, it has to come from somewhere.
Well, because it makes total sense. To understand requires a level of emotional intimacy and empathy and connection. Exactly. And I mean, it kind of links to what Sarah said at the beginning, right?
Yeah.
She talked about how bonds, in theory, a bond could be platonic because of how close you could be, but that it's fairly inevitable that assuming that you're interested sexually in that other, their opposite genders or whatever however it aligns with your interests, you're almost certainly going to end up romantic with them because of how intimate that connection is.
It's also spring.
Yes, which spring, the time of growth, and
We've talked about what we think the goddesses are. If we truly thought that they were also once human, it also makes a lot of sense for that to be an aspect of, connection. Because why would higher beings need to do that? They wouldn't. Just saying.
They could if you look at it.
They could, but
because they are reflections of people's beliefs, right? Like the concepts that they're made up of are reflections of what people believe. Yeah, and Lindsay
I was
just
watching you,
admitting...
but I didn't mean anything.
But and genuinely, she probably doesn't. She's just like, this is honestly the most vulnerable we've ever seen Lindsay.
She says, "I'm not used to this."
Yeah,
she doesn't know how. Like we start to really understand how damaged a person. Again, yet another damaged soul.
Yeah.
A damaged person Lindsay is. Like, she doesn't know how to trust, and more importantly, how to be trusted.
Nobody's undamaged in Oot except Ashley.
Except Ashley. Which is kind
Ashley.
of the point, though, right? Like, it's kind of the
makes
point.
sense. Which makes sense. She has no trauma because she's not supposed to fucking be here.
And not just that, but she's already processed her trauma, right?
Yeah.
Like, she's like in her previous
in
like
the
round.
face of goddesses and evil spirits, she's like, "Fuck you! I'm not supposed to be here. I can beat you anyway."
Right?
And Hebe is the goddess who has processed the most, so she's not inheriting spiritual trauma.
Yeah, there's none. She's. I mean, Hebe's still got a ton of baggage, but like, it's nowhere near what the other goddesses have got.
Yeah.
And this is a point that we want to mention here because Lindsay brought it up.
This is a fragment of her or a projection. I can feel several connections towards her immense totality, probably referring to, the fact that she's talking to multiple people here at the same time.
Which, I was about to say, who else would she be talking to? And now that she's figured all this stuff out, I mean, who knows?
Hebe almost certainly is talking to CJ right now. Like, don't forget, this probably takes place in parallel. I was going to say, to when Hebe is talking to CJ just before he goes to Sarah.
I was going to say, Hebe's probably talking to CJ right now. She's also probably this. I mean, it could not be this, but it's also
probably talking to the other shards.
Yeah, talking to everybody right now,
motivating them.
Yeah, but the go back one. This is the really important one. I can tell that she's not using her power the way the other three did, like when Hayato showed me their true nature. Next step. This isn't a rogue piece of her that you can defeat like Hyone or Carpo. Her whole power is working in harmony with itself. Like, that's such an important difference. Like we've often wondered what mechanical differences it makes for the goddesses to be fragmented in the way that the others we've encountered are. And this is a huge part of that.
I bet Hayato's so fucking mad right now. He can't see what's happening in here, and there's so much exposition going on.
Really like to know.
He doesn't know. Yeah. He's like, I know some shit's going on in there, and I can't fucking see it.
But it's just really interesting, like that. So when a goddess is functioning and whole, at least more or less, every part of them that ever manifests has the full power of the goddess at their disposal.
Which would make sense, because which
absolutely makes sense, but you realize, that is a huge part of why they're so strong. I think, like,
yes.
Well, it seems like the whole, like, we don't get a really, like, the whole explanation of like the fragments and appearing because the pull of the OG shards are so strong, right? Seems to be like a natural thing, not like intentionally being sent out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because once he gets locked behind the door, well, there's you can't pull anymore, right? So,
yeah,
like, very interesting that like Hebe's the only one that managed to right herself. I mean, we've kind of talked about it.
More or less,
it was very intentional. Like, she locks Niall away and then locks like all of herself up to keep herself together and fine.
Side note, I think the reason that she didn't just kill Niall is that because he's connected to her bond-wise and shard-wise, her own power probably can't be used directly on him.
Well, yeah, I mean, no, I mean, she said, I can't remember who says it. Niall says it, or she says it, that she tried to elevate him, that this was a way to try to do the whole cycle thing. So she tries to take the throne. She knows it, she figures out it can't work, so she's like, okay, cool, so I'll do what the rest of my sisters are doing,
but in a much more reasonable way.
Yeah, reasonable way. And then, turned out really bad.
And he goes off the deep end, as we will explore later when Niall talks about it.
I really do hope we get an explanation as to who, like, because if Hebe can't kill Niall, or doesn't, like, for some reason won't, who is the Hebe shard that Niall had, right? Because there had to be one. He only has one ring connection, and he still has it. We saw his ring, right? Or did we not? Have we not seen his ring?
We haven't. We haven't seen his ring on his.
He's wearing gloves, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which again, I think that's. I mean,
intentional.
What
he
if
may have like a corrupted ring or something?
Hear me out. Crazy fucking theory, okay? No basis for this. We have no evidence for this. But, like, what if there's no shard? He's literally just connected to Hebe, like straight up. There's no shard. She appeared to him, and boom.
Well,
Hebe.
if Hebe subsumed that shard into herself,
yeah,
maybe that's what happened. Maybe her shard in that world died, or even if Niall didn't kill her. Maybe
this is a great segue into the whole under the chair thing, but that's why I asked Anon if we were gonna get any more information on the castle / corpse underneath Niall's chair, because I thought that was the Hebe shard like trapped there, right? So if we're because the whole thing was, well, Hebe's trapped in here, right? That was the whole thing. Is, well, how do you, like, my thought process was, well, yeah, we're just gonna use the shard to, do some fucking ritual, trap her underneath, and then boom, Niall sits in a chair above her. Like, that seemed like that was pretty interesting, but apparently not. So I don't know.
But we did learn very interesting facts, and here we get some sneak behind-the-scenes information, don't we, guys? We have discussed things with Anon. Anon is okay with us talking about this a little bit.
This is only for Oot Cast listeners.
Only Oot Cast listeners.
We will not talk about this in the Discord. If you're listening right now, you get insider information, okay?
Yeah. And so basically, we've learned from Anon that the Oot 2, which has been planned.
Release date coming soon. No,
yeah. Oot 2, it will take place in Niall's world after the events of Oot.
After what's already done to it. Like it's
after what's happened to it. So
whatever happens at the end of Oot,
when it's recovering
Niall's
would
world.
be my guess. Yeah, like when it's recovering from Niall's, like what Niall has done.
And
would be my guess.
Our boy is going to be in there.
Our boy Diogen he's going to survive and come back for Oot 2. That's also pretty fucking baller. So enjoy those little tidbits.
Speaking of him, because this does happen in this chapter, MVP of the fucking chapter for sure.
Yes.
We will talk about him later.
We big up our boy Diogen for this chapter. It's so good.
So fucking good. I'm telling you what. I'm gonna go into it on that. When we
this
talk about it.
this line.
This line. I am not obfuscating out of a desire for secrecy.
You are obfuscating.
She has been trying to hammer this point in for the last 2 chapters. Like, I'm not doing this on purpose. Please.
She's taking it even further, though. She's taking it even further when she says, "There is much I want you to understand in time." So she's basically saying exactly what we talked about a minute ago a little bit. You're not ready to understand as much as she is not able to tell you. Because, like, self-discovery is such an important part of understanding things. And learning things for yourself on your own terms is also far more freeing. That will require trust, which they don't have yet. She's acknowledged that. They don't know her. Yep. They can only trust her through actions eventually.
I don't think I do think it's really interesting. I don't think it helps that she's not real. I mean, she is in some ways, but she's not really like Ashley. So it's not like the other goddesses where it's like they look like if this just looked like
you can
Ashley,
see the parallel. I mean, CJ says as much
me,
last chapter.
Trust me, and it's like I'm just like Ashley. It's like no. This isn't like the other goddesses.
Even Carpo says
counterparts.
Even Carpo. The thing is, Carpo does something similar. She says to CJ quite early on in Leia's arc, you don't need to trust me now. You will trust me in the future. You just need to see what I do.
Well, I mean, of course, that's because Carpo is very intelligent.
But that's why they're so suspicious now, in part, is what I'm saying. Yeah, like Jamie says, we're at an impasse. Until you've proven your intentions, we can't really trust you fully. I talked about this last Oot Cast, but the fact that Hebe's participating in everything in such a way really has me worried for like what's gonna happen. Whether she's gonna survive? Yeah, I know.
Like, yeah,
I really like her.
I'm not even joking. Like, I don't have any concrete evidence, but I really wonder if we're gonna get like, cool. So now Hebe's actually gone and split between Ashley and Misaki, like officially, or something. Because she's of course she's participating. She's a goddess in a way that. And she
seems genuine in wanting to help.
Yes. So, of course, in Oot, that can't fucking stand. Are we serious?
But we see Mizzy actually taking the same stance as Ashley has been pushing for a while now. Which is actually kind of a big deal. Like, Jamie was very cautious in the immediate aftermath of 50-51. But Jamie now has come around to taking Ashley's position of, look, paranoia, fear, mistrust. It's what's led everything to where we are right now.
All
like,
things
the goddesses,
that the Mara, all the things that the Mara.
Exactly. But at some point, someone's going to have to take a leap and take a measure of a leap of faith and just take something on trust. Like, something has to change.
That was kind of a low blow by Jamie, though.
It
right
kind
there,
of was.
like
inciting Hayato to someone who has chunks of his memories.
Yeah, like that
I'm
was
talking
kind
to
of...
you. Pardon me. That was also him.
But at the same time, I think it's good because this demonstrates, in a more subtle sense, reason triumphing over emotion.
Were any of them
Mizzy
born
is
evil?
really
No,
raw,
Hayato
right.
was not an orc. Come on, dude.
Yeah.
But
that's what I'm saying. He
was not a demon.
Like, Mizzy is like emotion is very emotionally driven right now. She's fully manifesting that she is the match because she's Mizzy's color. She's Carpo and Kione, isn't she? They're a chimeric pair, and they
they're
manifest
complete dominion or utter annihilation, which is also very Carpo and Kione.
Yeah. And also refuses to really engage Lindsay's this I think is the beginning of Lindsay wanting to become the fourth member to complete the set for
the maids.
To complete the set for the moon phases, that she's going to become the fourth maid basically. She's also got the boobs for it, which is also very important, as we all understand. But yeah, Hebe doing this is huge.
Extremely lore relevant point for why Lindsay might become part of the maids. She has extremely big boobs, massive
heightened tits. She is.
Yeah, she's got the height and the boobs. And think about it, personality-wise, she's like the fourth piece. She's the most demure and shy. But look. Hebe just gives out her the chain.
I do wonder. I don't have anything else to go off this. Calling it a keystone, I think, is a very interesting way to describe it.
And it makes sense. It fits the fourth jewel on your chain. Yeah. The girls are like, what?
We knew that. We've seen the chain before on Tsukiko. We've seen the other colors that are with it, but we've never had it described with that. I just think it's very interesting.
Yeah, you took my sisters by force and you feared you have to do the same with me. And here she is. That's why you were afraid to ask. And this is such a good example of what Jamie was just talking about. You didn't even bother to ask because you were some level convinced it would result in violence. When sometimes you just need to reach out and ask. Like fear, this is what they were held back by fear.
Yeah.
And that's a huge part of one of Oot's messages is that fear holds you back, and you have to move past that fear to truly be able to reach out to another person. Yeah, well, she needs to empower it. Yeah. And now, but the consequences of this are enormous. I know they have to deal with Niall and everything now, but once they get back and things are stabilized, as long as CJ persists, the world is safe, which is why his life is now the next most important thing. Although it can pass to Misaki, as we've already established.
Mm-hmm. So
yes, this is where we will fade to black. Here's the title screen. Back on the story. We had to skip the sex scene because YouTube doesn't like it. Not a huge amount, really, beyond a little bit of meme stuff to talk about. Obviously, with Baihi, I know some of you are going to be eager for us to talk about that. But first, we'll start with Myrna because that's, I think, a bit more plot relevant to what's about to happen in this chapter.
And heartbreaking.
I mean, we get a proper look behind Myrna's mask, literally and figuratively, in that sex scene where we see what has been done to her emotionally and mentally by being subject to Alan's disgust towards her because of her being in a brothel when he found her. I mean, I'm not going to say that was I'm not going to defend Alan in the sense that I think he was in any way justified or it's any way he shouldn't be condemned for it. But it's absolutely in keeping with the values of the time that he comes from.
Yeah, the culture there.
The culture that they have. He's very much coming...
Never say that Alan's not consistent with how he's always been.
Yeah. Well, but also I think also that disgust that he feels towards Myrna is highly likely
also to be himself.
Is drawn from his self-loathing. So much of Alan's character and the way he is with other characters is drawn from his own guilt, shame, and grief. myself and Omen have theorized that we suspect that a key part of it is that if we have the order of events correctly, he manages to defeat the Kione shard of his world with the aid of his Capo shard, but his Capo shard slowly starts to lose her mind as the influence of her goddess becomes stronger and stronger and stronger as time goes by, and we theorize that he was then forced to kill her himself rather than risk the whole world. Maybe she was even begging him to do it in her more lucid moments. We consider,
I would be shocked if we don't get to see that.
If we consider that if that happened before he met Myrna, he would very logically blame her. I mean, it's logical in an irrational, emotional sense.
Yeah, I mean,
for not being there and potentially being, like he says, she's the most. He says right when we first meet him, the most powerful spiritual entity on his planet, and she was in a brothel getting fucked.
Yeah, especially considering, like, we've seen all the other shards like have different scenarios that they're put in. And most, it seems like Seema and Rodell were able to get through things at the beginning and find their shards or their fairies pretty quickly. Like, we know that you don't always find your shards or your fairies that you're connected to, so having to deal with that all by yourself, like, no, I don't. Like, Alan,
you're lacking even just not just the power question.
Pissed,
not just the question of power either, but knowledge. Like the Fae have innate knowledge of spiritual matters, which, especially in a world like Alan,
and they still
doesn't have
a whole lot. Like, imagine all this.
Yeah,
like, they got told a ton of stuff these last couple of chapters. They're like, so that explains everything that's happened in my entire life is because I'm a piece of a guy. Like, they didn't even know that, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, why would you? There's no context to know that, especially if they weren't able to converse with their shards properly.
I mean, that all comes from Crow and talking to the goddesses.
Yeah, and who are far more knowledgeable than most, right? And also, the only reason the goddesses approached CJ, like, at least in part, the way they have, even Kione, is because he is special to some degree. I mean, they may not think he's Elenath right away, but they all acknowledge that he's special because he has 4 rings. So they do interact with him more, I think, than they would normally.
Again, why it's necessary for all those characters to exist as a comparison to CJ, right?
Yeah, exactly. So Alan absolutely deserves, like, my dislike of Alan isn't like, I don't think he's a bad character. I think he's a fantastic character in the same way that I think Hayato is a fantastic character.
Like, all his decisions that he's made, even the ones that
they
suck,
make sense.
Like, they make
absolutely
sense.
Make
and it's
sense.
not like I think he's being like I really don't think he's going out of his way to do them. I genuinely think that it just ends up being like
he genuinely thinks he's doing what he has to do.
Yeah,
he genuinely thinks
he's doing
option. And there is logic to that. Like, I mean, I'm going to bring something in here which is pretty old, but in 37, Crow, who at this point is fully accepted CJ as OG and Elenath, when she starts fighting alongside him again, when he brings Ash in, she says, "Your ruthlessness is showing, darling." And I think that, and others have made reference to it as well, that Elenath wasn't all just happy, clappy, fun times, loving, and passionate.
Right? Yeah,
he was when the situation called for it. He was wrathful. He was vengeful. He was, he was ruthless even when it was necessary to be so.
We haven't obviously seen any OG stuff like of how he really was back then. I'd be surprised if we do. I'm not gonna lie.
Same.
Look how the goddesses turned out. They're not perfect. They do things bad all the time. Why did we I'm not saying OG was bad.
Even back then, even when they were all saved.
Why would we assume, especially considering what we think of the origins of the goddesses and OG would be?
Yeah.
Why would they be perfect? They wouldn't be.
Even if they're not human, even if their origins aren't human, it's really important to remember the goddesses are manifestations of the belief of people. And people are flawed. So that means their beliefs are going to be flawed as well. Like, if you're projecting your values onto an entity and that entity manifests out of those values, they're going to have many of the same flaws.
Even if they're not anthropomorphized like
even
that,
if they're not anthropomorphized,
their portfolios are still
and that is the
natural.
Core. One of the core elements of Oot is that Elenath kept those elements in check by balancing everything together, and now those elements are out of touch.
Unhinged. Yep.
So that's like I think that really ties back into one of like the overall themes of Oot in that
I
regard.
agree.
But yes, so dragging us back to Myrna, this sex scene is really important because it shows that her self-loathing has been internalized in herself as well, as projected onto her by Alan. CJ and Sarah are obviously horrified by that and working very hard to try and heal her, but it's a form of trauma that's very hard to overcome and takes a very long time to overcome. In a sense, being a Fae makes it easier because of how intimately they feel and how honestly they feel connection. So hopefully that will give Myrna...
Oh my god, I'm just thinking back to the end of the chapter where she's like fucking horrified.
Yes.
Imagine being able to see the future actions of someone and going, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
And not just that, it goes even further. Imagine reading someone's self-loathing and their projected hatred of you because of that onto you for decades. It is astonishing that Myrna's is well put together and still as compassionate as she is. Because I'm going to draw a comparison here.
Well,
imagine that extended out over an even longer period of time. How much do you want to bet that's why Namar ended up the way she is with Nile?
Crazy. Yeah.
Twisted.
Oh no! I mean, we've only seen a couple glimpses of like a picture of them being like happy before their fall of madness.
But
like,
she looks dramatically different.
I know. I'm sure that they had a good relationship. I mean, hell, I'm sure that's why Nile keeps her around. I mean, fuck. If you get to being Nile's power level, why do you even need a fucking fairy then, right?
I mean, but you kind of see that in the way he treats her, though. Like, I think it's one of the few concessions he's made to anything resembling an emotional connection is the fact he's kept Namar around.
And she like, it's not like Crow doesn't do this
desperate for his
approval. She toadies so hard.
She's really like.
And this ties back into what we're going to talk about now with Baihi.
Entertainment for you, of course. Anything to make you happy.
Yeah, and this ties back into what we're going to talk about with Baihi for a brief minute, because I know people want us to. Is that so? Baihi is now Baishi when they're with CJ and such in that sex scene, and that in turn is probably the most visible representation we've had of how Fae will conform to the form that is most desired. We're going to talk about how that's really weird that worked for CJ in a minute, and it's going to involve me swearing at Anon a lot, so be ready for that. But it basically means
I thought we weren't going to do that, but all right, that's fine.
Fuck it, we ball. Fuck it, we ball.
We won't do it. Okay, that's fine.
No, we're just not going to get political about it, but fuck it, we ball. And it's worth noting that it really enforces how Fae conform, strictly speaking, you would label it as gender fluid because they don't have a fixed form. They assume the shape and form that their partner desires. It's interesting that Myrna's form is the way it is. One of the reasons Myrna looks as, I wouldn't say generic, but she's not like as physically bombastically attractive as the other Fae, right? She lacks the exaggerated sexual aspects of some of the other Fae companions and Fae-aligned individuals that we've seen, right?
Because Alan thinks he doesn't fucking deserve anybody anymore because he's killed two of them.
So she's like almost in a sense, almost a kind of blank slate of a Fae in that regard because she appears plain, but she even mentions when we first meet her in Jamie's arc that, oh yes, I look very different.
Different on the other side.
On the other side. And it's really interesting. I think that may be genuinely a part of it that he doesn't sexualize her, so she doesn't come across as a sexualized entity in the same way that Sarah does or Baihi does.
I agree.
But it's interesting that Baihi is switches to female for that to work, and it's really it makes sense. It makes sense. And also, Anon, I know you only included Baihi to screw with me as Baishi. And I hate you, but I also love you. But I hate you, but I also love you. So I will say out loud, ignoring that aspect, it is kind of odd that Baihi is there. Myrna makes sense. She's not with Alan. But Seema and Baihi are very much together. So, you could easily chalk it up to a cultural thing where Seema's simply not fussed that he has fun with CJ, because he sees CJ either as like another part of himself, because they are both OG shards as far as he's concerned, or maybe in his culture, sharing a loved one in that respect with someone you respect and love, especially if it's going to work in a sense of spiritual healing, which you can absolutely make that case for here.
Seema would definitely fall in line with that too. Like,
it makes sense for
heal
Seema.
him.
However, even though Alan doesn't have a relationship with her, I'm so surprised that we didn't get like an offhand comment about like something like.
Sure.
Oh, because Miona had sex with CJ?
I would
be willing to bet money that Alan can't feel what Miona does because he's mutual connection.
Totally blocked. Totally blocked.
That is, well, I mean, we all know that just because you're bonded doesn't mean you're the thing that Sarah likes to talk about all the time. So yeah, that's completely fair.
Yeah.
That's what I genuinely think is the case. I mean, it would, and he probably doesn't want to feel anything she feels, because God forbid he might actually start to feel guilty.
Well, and we know that Sarah can limit what. Like, she can do the...
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
she can do the limiting.
So Myrna's doing that as well.
Myrna's
because she
doing
cares
that.
about Alan.
Because, but then everything Alan's doing, she's getting it full force, and that's why she's like, what are you fucking...
She's crazy.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I mean, she says... I mean, Sarah and others say it. A Faye's love is obsessive.
Yep.
It's wholehearted. Now, I don't know how much of Myrna's feelings for Alan are because of the intimacy of the bond, or independent of that, still extant. Because like we said, once you bond with someone, it's very hard not to have romantic feelings for them unless you have a huge reason not to, like Alan does, where he...
Well, we've seen how, like, I think a good way to do it is, like, so you can still have that connection. Like, a really good example is Niall and Nama, right?
Nama.
Like, we've seen the one picture of them being happy and stuff like that, and they still have their connection now. But look how that relationship's, like, just fucking transformed and been, like, twisted, right? Like, Alan's completely cut himself off, and now, like, I'm sure she loves him. I'm sure I'm sure at some...
I mean, she said openly when they were frozen in front of Niall, look, you can kill the rest. You can take everyone. Just leave him alive, please. Because I think the thing is also, another element of that is that it's a toxic, abusive relationship thing.
100%.
Where Myrna doesn't have anyone else.
Sure. But
she doesn't have anyone else.
I don't disagree with you, but I also would counter that we also know that Sarah would die for CJ, and it really wouldn't matter.
Yeah, no, 100%. I'm just saying it's a mixture, really, of things.
A lot of things.
In Myrna's case, Myrna doesn't have anyone else, except now she does.
Yes.
Myrna has the Faye sisters. That
we're adding a third Faye to the group.
Yes.
At least.
I mean, this is something else we're now going to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no, should we save that for the end? We'll do like we did last time.
No, we'll save that for the end. Because that actually does happen in this chapter, so yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but we'll talk about Faye companions and how we think that might work now.
So much fucking...
And this is Ashley finally waking up and actually wanting to be involved in the exposition.
Yeah. We also, we got the title screen that's Stay With Me. I think that's pretty relevant for this chapter on quite a few levels.
Yes.
Especially towards the end.
CJ and
Yeah.
This is an interesting little tidbit to realize just how easily information is shared now between the Crow Triumvirate and
yes,
pieces. And Misaki as well, obviously.
Oh, Misaki, to have you around physically, so nice.
It's nice.
It is so good. It is so good. Man, imagine if she gets a body in the human world and how her family's going to react to that. There's 2 Misakis now.
Yep.
Ugh.
I want to talk about this in a little bit.
Whatever Niall hits her with,
there's something that I kind of want to bring up about that.
This right here is related to what I suggested to Anon. By him maybe doing it in a future chapter.
But CJ's looking better. His hair color is improving.
He's got less bags under his eyes. They're still there, but they're less.
Yep.
He's actually smiling again, and even his hair has a cleaner luster than it did in previous things.
Yep.
It's not so shadowed.
His hair color changes like a sun.
Everybody picks up. Like everybody's happier.
Is Niall's hair color originally What was it?
It's the same color as CJ's.
Yep.
Yeah, that's really funny. What if that's what was happening?
It's the same color as CJ's, which we presume is OG's original color.
CJ's hair is turning just.
But look at Jamie being more comfortable with sexy times, not just on her own as well.
When she came in, there's a single frame where
I love you, Ashley. I forgot she says that.
Where you don't get like when Jamie first sees them all puppy piled in bed, and you're not quite sure how she's going to react, but then she waves and she smiles, and it's like, I think she is okay with this.
Yeah, I think with the combination of her being with CJ now, like she feels, she could feel his commitment, and also her commitment to him, but also the new body. Like, I know a lot of is made these days of, you need to accept yourself and love yourself, but sometimes that does involve changing yourself.
Yep.
And Jamie says it herself. This is who she feels she was always meant to be. And
the fact that, she's finally had a piece of CJ. So
yeah, like all those things together, I think is going to transfer. And bear in mind, Mizzy is Jamie.
Oh wait,
and
we
Jamie
should mention
is
this, by the way. We should mention the Sarah screenshot.
The frame.
Yeah,
in the scene.
That Sarah frame. Yeah, I figured you guys would want to mention that because we talked about that earlier.
Well, it hasn't popped up yet, is it? It's just
well, the one in the sex scene did, but we have to
true.
That's what I'm talking about.
That I cannot say how we know this. It's a guess. We're just gonna guess. Call it a guess. But maybe a future version of Sarah, like a future look for Sarah, because we all know that people's spiritual forms change and evolve over time as things happen to them and they experience.
I don't know how I know this. Just
put it out there.
This is an Oot Cast exclusive right here, ladies and gentlemen.
So that might be a red herring, might be future Sarah look. Let us know what you think, people.
Good times, bad times.
I'm all for it. I think it looks great. I think it looks like a more. The mask is. I'm going to assume the mask is like not a main feature of it. It's just part of the red herringness. But I think it would be. It looks like it genuinely looks like a slightly older, more mature Sarah, which I think would kind of fit in a nice way as things evolve. Full Gyaru Sarah is always going to be a fun thing in my book.
And of course, Ashley's sudden fury now.
Yeah. As I was saying, I was like, I love the what
the cheese and crackers?
No way.
And she's like, and the fact that she's like not focused on the fact that they look different in other ways. It's just.
I'm also genuinely curious. Like, shouldn't she be able to do that here?
Should be able to.
Okay, look, Ashley is probably capable of a lot of things that she doesn't realize she's capable of.
I agree.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. Yeah. He even outright says that. She's like,
and Misaki's right. It's a damn good niche to be the pocket pussy, as they say.
No, everyone's just gonna. I told you before we started this episode, everyone's gonna turn into the exact same fucking shape, and then they're all gonna meld together.
Shut up! They're all gonna meld together. Shut up!
Chapter 100 theory.
I don't want to hear
everyone
it.
becomes everybody.
This is like Omen and his vindication thing.
Vindication.
Okay? It's not a thing. Shut up, both of you. God, I have to keep you both in line. But yes, now we're getting back to things. They're talking a bit now about Niall and just how powerful he is. They do keep stressing how crazy strong he is.
Or worse, yeah. I mean,
or worse than the goddesses. The goddesses are at least they leave worlds alone that don't have shards on them. But I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, is Niall just going to go around eating the shards?
He's going to eat things. He's just going to keep eating to make himself as powerful as possible.
I will not. The darkness will not consume me.
He's going to go. The darkness. Yes, the darkness. He's going to go full hungry hippo.
Yeah.
So we've got a name for the piece that they take from the goddesses, their keystone, which is really interesting.
Yeah, I was about to say, I mentioned that earlier. That's a very interesting word to call it. Makes sense.
It totally makes sense. Like, it's a cornerstone of their power.
Hebe mentioning that in particular, it could be nothing, but I would like to think that actually is relevant.
And it's also
but this is a really important bit right here.
Feel complete.
Yeah.
Even with they have all the power, but so they have Hebe's power, but it's not everything. And with what Hebe says later on about identity in this chapter, I strongly suspect that the Hebe we have and we are witnessing right now is not all of Hebe. I think Ashley Prime, it could be Ashley Prime. It could be that there is an aspect of Hebe that has been dissociated, likely manifested through Ashley Prime, which Ash is going to be a key part of. Because don't forget, this is her arc.
Yep.
So this kind of leads into a theory that I've been toying with. It's been batted around by a number of people.
I do have a question. Do you think Hebe knew what was going to happen whenever she sends all the shards away in a little bit?
Yes.
I thought so too.
Not in the details, but I think she strongly suspects.
Right.
I think that she knew that. She pretty much says so, saying that whoever would touch the sword was going to die. But she also thought it was going to teleport away. But I definitely think that she knew that nobody was living except maybe CJ. Like that.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be malicious here when I make that
58 screams necessary sacrifice chapter.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
But here's the thing though, is I don't mean to throw this out maliciously without like trying to be mean to Hebe and call her out, but I do think she didn't intend for anybody but CJ to survive after that. I'm just saying.
I think so too.
I feel like she's way too smart to not have realized that Niall showing up and killing someone for the other key.
I don't think intend is the right word though, because even if she had been like, "You're going to die if you do this," I think they all would have said yes. Even Alan, because even if he's doing it in a fucked up way, he's doing what he's necessary. So I don't think it would have mattered if she told them that.
You're right, because he's like, why would I even do this? I just want to protect my world. And she's like, as long as I'm around here, your worlds are going to be fine. We need to do this. And he's like, okay, fine.
But this needs to be done because, like, you know, he's a risk to everything.
Anyway, what were you saying before I said that?
You completely derailed my train of thought. So it's been battered around for a long time now that one of the scenarios for the end game of Oot is that the girls assume the mantles of their goddesses as themselves rather than as the previous goddesses, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what if we're going to get this arc even, or at least the start of it, with Ashley.
Misaki. Yeah, we mentioned that.
Taking Hebe's place as
Did we mention that?
at the head of her power.
As the twin goddesses.
Yeah, wait.
Yeah, as the twin goddesses manifesting different parts
before this recording or during it?
Before.
We talked about
before.
Yeah, I mentioned this before we started recording. I had been getting a feeling for the last couple chapters with how involved Hebe's been that it just seems like very, very strange about, like, things are not going as well as they could be, sure, but she is getting, like, so much detail and screen time and
she's such a leg up that got to get cut off eventually.
Exactly.
It might trivialize the rest of things to have an entity of her power level around.
I mean,
so if we factor in this idea that Ash and Misaki are going to be basically the heirs to her throne, then they're going to it's going to take them a long time to integrate themselves into Hebe's power and assume that throne, right? Like, it makes sense that they would. That would be the case. So Hebe, even if Hebe's still around, she's probably going to be greatly diminished as she passes the torch of her power.
I think so too. I think also Hebe being around in this capacity right now. I'm not saying like she couldn't stick around and the story makes sense, like, and it work, but like
it could work. You could do it. There are ways
being around solves a lot of issues, especially with this chapter. Like we'll talk about this later in the later half, but we were worried about what happens to the other fairies after their shards die. Well, Hebe kind of solves that. We saw that last chapter.
My personal guess is that Hebe will stick around, but as an advisory figure, not with like direct power of her own. She's gonna like be there as like a mentor-ish type role to the gang, where she helps them, and like because she knows about like what CJ's going to have to do to properly assume the role of OG. Like, because we know he has two artifacts. He has the sword, which we're going after in this arc, and the throne. Like, we don't know anything about the throne yet, but like we know that those two pieces are key to assuming the role, right? So maybe she's going to stick around in some capacity to provide exposition for that sort of stuff.
Okay. We talked in a previous episode about Tsukiko's ring and how there's an imbalance with the chirality of CJ's rings. There's an odd number of rings, and how it's imbalanced. If Misaki and Ashley take Hebe's throne, assume her position, and her color, which has always been kind of unique in that it's two colors, it's blue-green. If it splits into blue and green, if her portfolio kind of diverges.
So you think that Misaki would get the blue, which is the logical, calmer.
Well, we know that that's the connection part.
Yeah, and then green is the power and the passionate side. Yeah,
right.
I could see that. I mean, you still have an uneven number, but then Tsukiko's reflection.
If we want to look at what the Oot logo is, it's five petals.
It's 5 petals.
That is true. That is true. Just a kind of
it's worth noting
thinking about the idea.
Ash's ring is twisted.
Two. Yep,
it's twisted together, separate yet together. It's a twisted.
Yep.
And Misaki's ring is just straight teal, right? It's just a straight.
Yes,
teal
it is.
ring.
It is just straight teal, which I always thought that was super interesting. That Ashley got a custom ring and Misaki just got the normal ring. I thought that was very odd.
Not just and I mean, she's not the only one with two colors in her ring, but
again,
even Tsukiko's ring is like two-banded rather than two twisted together like Ash's is.
Who? Tsukiko's? You said
Ash's. So Ash's ring.
Oh.
Ash's ring is like.
No. Yeah, I know how Ash's ring. I thought you were talking about something else.
It's braided, but also Tsukiko's. But Tsukiko has two colors, but her ring is layered. It's two.
Yeah.
But Tsukiko's ring is. It makes sense, I think.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It would make sense if Ash is going to take on some kind of dualistic role, if that her ring is that way, or maybe it's a sign of the immaturity of her ring. The power in her isn't yet fully balanced out.
Yeah, it hasn't integrated itself with itself.
Other than, the rings are unique.
Yeah.
But that's not a small thing. Anon didn't make them unique for no reason.
Yeah. But I do find it funny that Misaki got the normal ring, and then of course Ash Prime came with the fucking
braided.
The braided ring. And has the heterochromia and all that stuff. Very interesting.
Yeah. We tangented.
We did tangent hard, as ever. Okay, let's get back to it.
Fine, I'll keep
us
on
CJ,
track.
not even trying, turning on the charm.
Indeed.
He's just being himself.
Yes.
Indeed, she says.
She's here.
No wonder she's such an effective stalker. I'm not stalking anybody, promise.
I'm helping, right? Please don't kill me.
Please don't hurt me. No. But the thing is, again, this kind of shows something interesting, though. CJ just being himself is he just seduces her effortlessly just by being himself.
And he did that basically without meaning to with Hebe.
Yeah, there's no intention.
I don't know if this. I don't know if this is relevant at all. But I feel like this line right here, "It's your world to save too, isn't it?" is going to come back. Just a hot theory right there. I think that's coming back.
That makes sense. It's true. Just CJ just being CJ, just accepting her is just whammy straight
instantly to the heart. Fourth mate. Ladies and
gentlemen, fourth mate. We got him, ladies and gentlemen. We got him.
Hire her.
And Misaki's see, yeah, you got us swooning already. Sticky pages tonight out of that.
That line was really funny when I read that.
Ash, of course, has to make it as crass as possible. Oh, but look at her. She's so adorable. And what did you find out? What did I find out? If you're going to be this annoyingly shy, I'm going to shove his cock down your throat. And it does work. It snaps her out of it.
I mean, I like consistency with my characters. Ashley making fun of Lindsay the whole entire time that she's ever shown up has been really funny.
Yes. Who are you again?
I don't think she's telling the whole truth, but I don't think she's lying either. Yeah, we'll get heavily more into what Hebe is doing once we get to her talking to the shards and everything later. She hasn't spoken to any of them. Oh, that's okay. So we were wrong earlier. Not the way she talks to them. It doesn't take a spiritual connection. Just says she doesn't trust them. See, I think that's deliberate because I think she's afraid of what Niall will learn from them when he eats them.
Or simply, a little bit of kindness. Like, I don't want to get attached to these.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not going to lie. I kind of agree with Omen.
It could be both.
It could be both. I still think that there's a really high chance that Hebe's way more connected to Niall. Like, I know that she elevated him. We all know that, but I still think that there's a really good possibility that she's actually like genuinely bonded with him. In the like
which would be an interesting way to pass on a true bond to CJ to make him a true shard.
I also agree. I think defeating Niall and consuming all the energy he has is the perfect solution to CJ absorbs CJ shards. Or it could just be, he does do that to Seema at the end because Seema gives him that thing. So, no, Rodell does.
Yeah.
Rodell does give him a little bit.
I can see it happening with the...
We'll talk about all that when we get to that.
Yeah, of course.
Jumping ahead.
Well, it's good to keep things in line because we will address it because whenever we address it, we don't have to address so much.
And CJ
appetizers.
Yeah, I mean maybe.
Yeah, I mean I'm just saying.
I think the purpose. The purpose they're going to serve is to make CJ like into a true shard.
I also think that CJ I don't think CJ knows for sure, but I think CJ is also kind of like, why are they still here, right? I mean, he's
Crow suggested
the goddesses for
Crow did suggest it.
Crow has suggested this before.
Why,
oh my god, dude! I mean, how different would the story have gone if CJ went down a path like Niall with Crow? Oh my god! That would be.
But this is interesting. Missouri says we aren't going to murder those guys for power. Fine, but what about if they want to sacrifice themselves for you?
I mean, well, hold on. It's not like it's what I was saying by giving Hebe a little bit of credit here. Like, she didn't have she didn't do that on purpose. And the goal was for two of them to touch the door.
It's very clear that Hebe needs things to play out in a specific way.
Mm-hmm. To get CJ to where he needs to be, CJ needs to accept certain realities that he is not right now ready to accept. And
although he's getting closer.
And if Hebe just tells him, he's going to reject it. He's going to be like, no, absolutely not going to happen.
No, we must not being like, know thyself. Like we're going to be talking about this a little bit.
We talked about that literally like 10 minutes ago, where it was like, I have so much truth to share to you, but you're not ready for it yet, right? Or something like that.
Exactly.
We literally talked about it.
Yeah, Niall. That's a nice bit of confirmation from Sarah. If you go back just a little, Niall gained his power level by devouring others.
And other things.
As did Hayato. Which makes me wonder who Hayato was eating to get his power.
Well, we know that. It was the half-souls. It was just consuming people.
No, he used them to create Tsukiko, but we're talking about Hayato himself. Because
I would not
were intended for Tsukiko to eat.
Well, I mean, okay. Hayato is the way that he is because of his... of his dealings and how he went about a way doing things.
So he talks about his immortality and how that's why he still persists even after death in the way he's able to do so, which is much more ably than other dead souls.
Yeah, he can't move on.
We don't talk about where he actually sources his own power from.
Well,
if he could just eat half souls to power himself up, he'd have done it
eventually himself. And he'd eventually have gotten powerful enough. Like, it would have taken
time. Doesn't matter on the other side, so he could have just gone to the other side and just wandered around making and eating half soul. So obviously he can't do that way. He can't make himself.
Well, I do wonder, because that was the I do agree with that logic, because that would make sense, right? If time is infinite on the other side, that's why the goddesses are so powerful, is because they're constantly existing. Why wouldn't they be super powerful, right? Hayato should be Well, I mean, it does.
He doesn't embody aspects like they do, because
Yeah,
they get a latent, they get constant latent power from the souls that go in and out of the other side, and the emotions that they're embodied.
And
see, Hayato doesn't have that. He doesn't have an aspect.
No, it's very interesting because you do bring up a good point. Is like the whole thing with Tsukiko we've made fun of him for is like, oh, my world's gonna end and it's gonna die from some goddesses. I will make myself a god, right? Was his immediate first fucking reaction, right? So it's not like he's not above doing that. That was the whole point with Tsukiko. I wonder, like, he's just. I mean, Hayato's not the most powerful person, but we know that he's powerful enough to do some stuff. Yeah, why wouldn't he just start going and killing people from other worlds?
Obviously he can. So obviously for some reason he can. Probably because it damages or corrupts the soul the more you try to.
That's the thing. I wonder if. Hold on, I'll let you finish, Omen. But yeah. I do wonder if that's why we actually got a good result with Tsukiko, is because of what they ended up doing. I wonder if consuming half souls really is bad for you. I don't mean that in like a joking way of like, it's bad for you, but like they got rid of the soul part. They just took the mana. If you're eating people's legitimate souls, I mean that's always been depicted.
Well, and ironically, Hayato himself basically sets that up, because he talks about how a human soul is the combination of causes, karma, all of these things that you can't get rid of.
Yeah.
You have to not in an easy way. Like if
it's incompatible, it fucks you up.
Exactly. So let's bear that in. So that probably is why he can't just eat souls, even half souls, because they would have some of that. Like Tsukiko is able to strain out those elements because of her unique power set.
Still think that he's powerful as he is because he took parts of the goddesses.
I think that's part of it, and I think the rest of it is that he slowly absorbs power. He's like a wizard, right? He gains power through technique and training.
Let's let Omen dish it out. Let's go.
That's kind of what I was thinking. Is I think what makes Hayato strong is that he basically has said that he has had infinite time on the other side to do a lot of things. He may not have a great deal of personal power, but he knows how to apply what he does have with incredible precision and accuracy.
He's a ritualist, right? Yeah. Basically is what we're saying. He's a ritualist.
He's able to, I do, maybe this is getting to, what if, but, I do find it funny that, at this point in his plans and stuff, look, it's not like his plans have been without any success, but they have not worked the way that he wanted them to at all.
Right. Tsukiko's a pretty astounding achievement. On her own.
True. That part succeeded, but not in the way that he wanted to, is my point, right? He wanted to be in that position. That god form was supposed to be him. He's not in control of Tsukiko.
If Jamie's mom hadn't changed...
She does got it going on, but that's a whole other...
But if Jamie's mom hadn't been a girl, that would be Hayato. Hayato would be in that position.
Which again is just some random chance thing. Do you really think that there had to have been some influence there? Who knows?
I think there's
I don't have any evidence for that.
A nudge.
Come on.
It could have just been coincidence, because Hayato says it himself. He set up everything perfectly, but he just didn't accept the human element in his plans.
Here's the thing: is I'm more willing to. I don't think I'm less likely to believe coincidence in Oot because of how Uxo in Teresa's chapter went, with how it explained stuff that happened. With no, Hayato actually was immortal, not from Crow, because of Uxo, right? That's how he got the ability to. So it's the idea that whether or not Uxo knew it or not, she was creating the conditions for Tsukiko to exist, right? Now, I'm not saying she's responsible for why Jamie's mom was actually, I want to have a girl. But coincidence, it could be. I think it's not a crazy idea.
There is an element of coincidence scattered throughout Oot, where not everything is subject to the whims of some entity or desires of some entity.
But everything else in Oot for CJ's stuff has lined up perfectly. Hebe points that out. So the fact that Jamie Tsukiko as a entity is needed for this new system for the goddesses that were
this kind of touches back on,
makes sense that it would all be planned out, even if it's not intentional.
This kind of touches back on with something we talked about in previous Oot casts, though. With did assuming that Elanath is around as Child CJ and he has a plan and he's executing this plan, is it the plan that was like he seeded right from the start, like manipulating even Hayato? Or was it a plan that he co-opted? Like he saw what Hayato was doing, realized it could solve his problem, the original problem of the shadow, and then co-opted
with the way that time works in Oot, it absolutely could be. You could be completely right because, okay, so he realizes that this is the plan, and so boom, retroactively a bunch of stuff starts lining up for this to all coincide, right? Things that have been happening, like Sarah and all the things with Rebecca.
Like it's worth noting, it's worth noting that he emerges, right? Assuming we're right, he emerges as child Jacob, right, born of Cameron and Rebecca, and if we consider that to be the case, he doesn't speak, but he obviously is probably like spiritually searching his senses and examining everything and all that sort of jazz, right? He dies, and then, but the Sekiko plan has already been in play for years. But there's an underlying issue here that goes back even further. We are, I would say I can't speak for you guys, somewhat convinced that Cameron was born out of sequence. Right?
He has to be, because
Hayato did something which pushed back Cameron's emergence.
Okay. And more than that,
I was gonna say I agree. We don't. Yeah, go ahead, Omen.
But the thing is, the irony of that is, right, that may in turn, that pushing things out of sequence may have been the change that was necessary for Elnath to re-emerge.
Kibi says to CJ that all four colors showing up is like that. CJ is impossible. She's like, you can't.
Yeah. Well, not just for all four colors, but that both halves of Crow in the same place.
Yeah, that's my point. That was also my point, bringing up like the whole Jamie thing. Like Jamie's also a key part of this. Like, why are we saying that any of this is random? But
But the point is
Cameron also meets all of that criteria and existed before CJ.
Listen, I
but
think
he doesn't have shards. That's the key difference.
Right,
he doesn't have any shards.
I think that right there is the. I think if you want my opinion, I think that's why Cameron lived so long, is because something got put out of sync. Hayato did something, which is why he's still in the story.
Yeah. So just to lay it,
if
Hayato
didn't do anything else in the story that's related to right now, he would not be in here anymore. He still did something in the past that's relevant.
Just to lay this out clearly for us and for our listeners, what we're basically saying is that we know that Hayato did some kind of big ritual at some point, or a series of rituals to delay. Well, the storm is part of it for sure. We'll get to that in a second. But he did something big, or a series of big somethings, rituals, to try and block the goddess's manifestation by blocking the creation of the CJ shard, OG shard that was going to manifest. Which makes sense from his perspective. No OG shard, no reason for the goddesses to emerge, no danger to the world. World saved, he's the hero. But he doesn't have the power to do it, but he didn't realize that at the time because it's Hayato, and Hayato is Hayato. So instead of stopping the emergence of the OG shard, he just knocks it further, kicks the can down the road, and it's out of sync. And it's out of sync, so that's why Cameron emerges. He has 4 rings, but he doesn't have any shards. The intended shards, who, it's not a mistake, I feel, are likely the parents of the current shards, or grandparents in Kay's case. So you'd have Kay.
It perfectly makes sense that all the older family members that are
Kay,
parental figures or
Ruriko,
are the parents fit the criteria and look similar. Like, that's not unintentional.
Hector's a bit of an outlier, but I think that comes in because Hector was brought in and he is with Rosa. He's with Rosa, so he's able to assume Rosa's role karmically in the setting.
Which of anybody, Uxo could do that really easily.
Exactly. Yeah. So you end up with this situation where, we know that Cameron hallucinates and just loses whole chunks of time. I think that's a symptom of him being out of sync, and his soul and he's drawn to people, and it goes looking for the shards, whether he's aware of it or not.
Exactly, and he goes all over the world. He says he winds
traveled across all of America, and then the reason he pops up in the storm at Kamigawa is that's when the other side is pouring into Kamigawa during the event, that event.
And all of the other
and we know that
shards would be there.
Yeah, and we also know that the other side is outside of time. With the other side's power flooding into Kamigawa through the storm, then it makes sense that he would be like, Cameron would be drawn there because the pull of the shards and the goddesses is at its strongest. He would be pulled out of his own time and moved back there. Yeah, and then karmically, it's necessary because that's when all of his rings activate, including his Hebe ring via Misaki, which is a necessary part of everything. So you've got an activated 4 ring, who then gets with Rebecca, who is the spiritual echo of Sarah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. They have a kid who is, as far as we can, is likely Elanath himself.
So insane to be talking about. Just realize.
I know. And then Elanath himself is born, comes into the world, and then he comes in probably knowing more. He's like a baby with awareness, whatever. But the reason he doesn't speak is that if he spoke, the goddesses would hear him through Cameron, or even maybe just because he spoke, because of who he is. And
Crow is present and active in all of this.
Exactly. If on the other side of the world.
Yeah.
And then, so if we consider that Sarah was born as a Fae long ago in order to be his companion now, but he then is like, okay, look, I see what this guy is doing. This Tsukiko entity is the solution. I can see, it fixes the underlying problem of managing the goddess's power and preventing them from merging with me. But I can't do it because I don't have a ring with Tsukiko. It has to be someone else. Now, that then is where CJ comes in. So CJ, it's kind of implied, was his creation was co-opted by Hayato for his plan, or even maybe enabled. We're not 100% clear. On top of that, what if his Hayato co-opting CJ's creation in turn leads to his plan being co-opted by Elanath with the help of Ashley Prime, who I would be willing to wager at this point made contact with him at some point.
Figured it out, yeah.
Probably following the same emotional beacon as Crow did.
And Crow co-opting Misaki around this time.
That may even be part of the plan. Could Ashley's presence here, as he herself says, is how is this even remotely possible? I don't understand why she's here. It doesn't, there's no, I can't make sense of it.
She says she's powerful enough and basically intimates that she trusts Ashley Prime enough to be
so much that she just accepts that her presence is necessary.
So she's got to be here for a reason.
All of this added together is setting up CJ to assume the role of the true heir to Elanath because he has the most important element, which is Tsukiko's ring.
And that would have been present and visible to anyone who saw him. People who could see the karma, people with sight.
Really potentially dark.
People who had the sight would have seen the rings on CJ's hand basically from the beginning.
Not just that, but there's a really dark place this goes. It's worth noting that when we see Cameron die, child Jacob, who's there, isn't reacting. His face is blank. It's like the soul has left the body already.
Yeah, that scene 100%. That's what happens.
There is a possibility in my mind that
he kind of abandoned ship.
No. Far worse than that. If you put it together with how he talks to Misaki in 51 about how guilty he feels for the things he's done and the things he's had to do,
leaving his dad. Yeah.
What if he inadvertently arranged for his own dad's death because Cameron and Jacob see CJ on the side of the road and then they die?
Yeah.
What if that was a deliberately triggered moment where child CJ dies and Cameron dies with him, and it breaks his heart, but it's a necessary step so that he can go on to do all the things he needs to do.
It explains why Cameron was inside of Kione. And child CJ was not.
Exactly.
Because he abandoned ship right before he gets eaten.
because it was it was a necessary step because he can't exist as a person in the same world as CJ, because otherwise he would end up with Sarah. He would end up with the other shards, not CJ.
And then it wouldn't work with Tsukiko.
And then it wouldn't work with Tsukiko because he needs CJ to have those links, all of those links, to make this plan work. So CJ, Elenath is working behind the scenes. He saves Vic's life through Ruriko. He intercedes with saving CJ from the corruption of her mom and everything. He intercedes at multiple points. He tries to prevent Leia from going full postal at the wedding. But I'm just saying all of these things together,
it's just funny. It's not funny, but it is funny trying to think about child CJ being like, no, stop it. What are you doing? Stop.
Because if Leia goes too far down that road, obviously he needs CJ to stay and the girls to stay as well. So you end up with this situation where, and then I think I wonder if child CJ sees our CJ, so child Jacob sees our CJ on the side of the road, and that's when he realizes, and he's like, okay, now I have a plan. Like, because he would see the Tsukiko ring on CJ in that moment, and then he's able to put all the pieces together.
We should move along. I'm just saying.
Yes.
We should move
sorry,
along.
we really sorry. But
no, it was good.
I think it's important.
It was some good points. I think that's really
Jamie's saying probably what is the new catchphrase for Oot at this point. I don't think it's that simple.
It's never been that simple. It's just because we didn't realize it. It's never been that simple since chapter fucking 1. That's why we've been watching.
Right,
that's why we've been doing
basically the catchphrase for Oot. I think at this point, I don't think it's that simple. And this Lindsay with her Kroyaric hate, as justified as it is, she does make a point, but it is kind of also a little bit petty at this juncture.
People that hate Crow are also, you know what's really funny is people that like Crow really hate Alan, and I think it's fucking hilarious to me.
It is very
really funny.
So many of the people who love Crow hate Alan, and it's like you realize that they follow the same logic.
Like Crow did nothing wrong, and I'm like, yeah, but if I say Alan did nothing wrong, then we have a problem, okay? And it's
right.
Wait, who in Discord was like, it's because Crow's hot, and I thought, fuck, you're so right. It's fine when Crow does it because Crow's hot.
Probably Heat, because Heat is a giant Crow.
Yeah, fucking. Dude, he was so.
He got heated about Alan.
He was so mad about Alan, and I was like, okay, well, hopefully.
This isn't the time, Lindsay. And even Missouri's like, yeah, no, if that's the case, we do need to do something about it. And Lindsay makes a fair point, even if she's obviously personally motivated.
No, she makes a fair point, especially, I don't even know if she was hiding for, I don't know what parts of the last couple chapters. I mean, I don't think she was there in Niall's world, but if she did, she would have saw what happened to Kieran and the freak out, and we know that that's not like 100% gone away yet. So hey, it's a fair accusation, or thing to be
concerned about.
Yeah.
CJ's like, that bitch was gonna blow up the fucking planet.
I know, yet another time when you have to blur boobs. I'm sorry.
That's fine. I thought I was done.
No, this is. I know there's this whole sequence in the bath, and I think you're okay.
It's okay.
Yeah,
we are all good. That is my job, and I do it gladly, I guess.
You do at least get to stare at boobs for a while, so it can't be all bad.
It's not
but yes, this is actually
not nearly as fun.
This is Kieran actually in the bath. No, this is Kieran in the bath and meditating a little bit. Damn, those things are perky. Like, holy shit. I'm just saying.
I also was thinking that as well. Just I can't say anything. Like they're like fucking.
Crow really did go hard on the whole perfect body thing.
Oh my god. Yeah. I think honestly though, as someone that has to edit this, it really sucks. It really sucks blurring things, not for the work, but because it makes it look not good. Which is it makes sense, but like when I go back and watch our videos and I just see giant blur, and I'm like, I have to do that because I can't just shape it out.
YouTube, curse you.
Well, I mean, it's not.
But
like
we get a look. So to drag us back to the point, Kieran is still feeling the after effects of whatever Niall did.
Like we just mentioned, yeah.
Yeah.
And this is where I mentioned it earlier. This is where I wanted to talk about this line right
the
here.
hole that she's trying to climb out of. Yeah.
I believe, given the revelations that we get later on where Niall is getting his power, with I think
wait, that's
the
actually
next
insane.
line,
Wait, that's actually insane.
whatever
Wait a minute.
energy he attacked with,
conversation, but yes,
it doesn't seem like this is the first time Crow has experienced it. I think that
my God.
Crow has been in intimate contact with the Mara, and
even if she didn't know it. Yeah, that, I mean, obviously that makes sense with like all the suffering that she's been existing throughout time. She's really old.
The malice and hatred that she kind of
maybe
exemplifies.
It's even where she's been drawing some of her power from unknowingly.
Exactly.
Unknowingly.
Yeah. And that's so funny that you mentioned that, because now that like immediately once you said that with like it's like he poked a hole and she's trying to climb out. What do you think's gonna fucking happen to Niall if he dies? All those Mara, like, he consumed them and he thinks he killed them. Nah, they're just still fucking in there consuming all the fucking Hebe power and everything he's been absorbing, and they're just gonna fucking pop out all giant.
And she's
but
just
also
like,
at the same time, now that Crow is connected to Sarah and Kieran, maybe she can shed that. If what is,
I think so too.
Oh, we're
Sarah
definitely
seems
not
to think
done.
so.
That will be. I guarantee.
That's what I'm saying though. Is that maybe that's if that's the root of just why Crow is so damaged. It's not the only thing.
Well, I would be surprised if at the end the Mara are still around, because they're supposed to have not existed.
Well, you know my theory on this, don't you?
Yes, I know. Regardless,
hey,
of
I said this to Anon. I said this to Anon, and he didn't.
No,
say no.
don't do. That's never. Don't listen.
Don't trust him. Don't trust the
Don't
devil.
let him get in your head, okay? Because just because you say something and he gives you like the smile emoji does not fucking mean that you're right. Trust me.
No, but you know, like this.
I know
you could make the case that people like to tell you when you're wrong, and they just know.
Well, Anon does like to tell you when you're wrong, and you might. The thing is, though, knowing you is you're probably like 95% right, and you're just wrong.
I just think it's no coincidence that Mara is also a girl's name. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fair point. I still think I'd be surprised if the Mara exist after the end of Oot. I would be.
At least
especially
not in their
with
current
how,
course, yeah.
like, maybe this is a little bit of insider knowledge, but with what we know about Oot 2, about Niall's world being like inhabitable now and like actually a world.
Yeah, I mean that might just be the case of them being banished from it. So who knows? Like, I wouldn't be surprised if CJ goes out of his way to make that world start to heal itself.
Sure, but again, with the whole concept of we know the Mara didn't exist before the Shattering, kind of makes sense that they would disappear once everything's formed back together. But again, be whatever.
That's fair. No. Either or. But this I think is also quite important. It's not going to like before. We're not hiding from each other. No matter how strong she feels, we're the ones in control. And I think that's the key element here, is mastering that emotion so that Crow can finally maybe be like somewhat free of that grief and pain. She's more than one person should ever have to bear, but I think that's possibly more literal than Sarah realizes. If she has been touched by Mara and it's been eating away at her all this time, maybe that's like, if they can purge that or push that away, that might help Crow in a way that otherwise you wouldn't be able to. Because Crow has, I think, genuinely improved, not just since like getting her pieces back, but maybe that's part of it. Maybe her getting her pieces back has pushed out that influence.
Yeah, if she kind of repaired her missing pieces with the Mara, and getting her pieces back allows her to shed where the Mara.
Well, I would say this. I think that she knows what the Mara are. She's talked about them, but she talks about them in a very dismissive way whenever she's introducing them to CJ. I would be more inclined to believe it seemed like for a while, Crow was just not doing anything, at least from what she talks about, of like, she started doing stuff eventually, but she like for a long time was just in like, despair and grief, for a long, unknowable period of time, right? And the Mara start appearing, right? We know that the Mara don't directly like interact with, like, using Uxo as an example.
Yeah.
Like, even for a goddess of that being, they didn't interact, and they don't interact directly. Like they did with Hector, right? But Hector was in such a fucked up state and fucked up world that of course like the Mara actually like being there present in front of his face isn't that much of a danger to them, even if he could kill them, which he could, right? Them feeding off of Crow and them just being around, and maybe she's just like, you know, she's in pain, she's in grief, she's not aware, right? That seems more likely to me than her like taking pieces of the Mara to fix herself. I agree though that when she gets new pieces of herself, she seems to like get better, and it makes sense. Also, we'd never really get a good explanation of that because it's not the same thing that happened with Sarah and Crow with them splitting in half. It doesn't seem like. That seems like that was different. And the other pieces
that was because of the depth. That was because of the depth of her connection to OG, right?
I just find it interesting that, like, so did she also, when Crow and Sarah split, did they also, is that where all the pieces came from the other goddesses had, or, like, I don't know. I'd like more information on that because that's not the same thing.
My guess is, and I feel moderately confident in it, is that bear in mind that the Fae, like Sarah, is also bonded to the other girls via the bond she has with, like, so it's all one big. So if you think of the bonds as basically overlapping of souls, which is what it is, it makes sense that if the bond shatters or breaks, that pieces of the soul gets left behind in the other person.
Yeah, no, I mean,
and that's
the shattering.
kind of, and that's exactly, and that's kind of what we're dealing with. Like the reason Crow is getting memories back and stuff when she has it is, and power and technique and all this sort of stuff, is that they're literally the parts of her that should have been with her all along but weren't. Like the soul still evolves, but it wasn't connected properly.
I really
that
like
line hurts.
That is a beautiful line, isn't it? Can I settle for being like you?
Things.
And Sarah's just, Kira. They are such a good pair.
So earnest, though.
Really
like,
enjoyed.
Like, it's so funny that she says that because she was so worried that she was going to turn out to be like Sarah.
At first,
that Sarah was going to overrun. But it also shows how far Kieran has come since from her arc. Like she just.
Yeah.
What do you mean it's still her arc?
It shows that she.
This is still RGB.
True enough. The meta arc, I guess. But yes, here we are, Hebe talking to the shards. Each of you has answered a calling sent long ago, whether you know it or not.
Oh, yeah.
Today you will fulfill.
That is
such a key line. Like, did you guys not catch that the first line? That's such an. So I think that it may be the case that Elenath manipulated their presence all along.
Yeah.
Not
to say, I'm trying to give Hebe the benefit of the doubt here, but she knows.
No, I don't think Hebe did it. I think Elenath did it. I think Elenath has Jacob.
No, I know. No. I know. I agree with you. I think this is the plan. But I think she figured out the plan and is now going with it. Yeah.
Now she's now learned through Kay coming. Like it, I cannot overstate how important it is that Kay took the measures she did to end up connecting to Hebe. Like that's why would you go through so much to do that when you're dead? To accept to deliver the most important of information.
You know what? We talked about Hebe's limitation earlier this chapter. I do wonder if this is the answer. Of it's taking, like, if we don't defeat Nile in the next couple of chapters, she's still around. This is why Hebe's not able to help, is if we keep him.
That's true. Yeah, that could be it.
Yeah.
Or maybe her power, or maybe her access to her power isn't as great if parts of it have already gone to Ashley Prime / Ashley.
True.
Yeah. Now she's talking about the Kurikara.
Yes.
Yes.
Connects to the sword that connects to every place in space and time in all universes, which is just nuts. Like the power of a thing like that. Like this is Orxo's power amplified.
Well, and it's kind of interesting given like
it makes sense
the
for
origins.
God to have it.
Yeah. And the origins of the name, it's like where it originally comes from, the Japanese name, which we don't get too many of with the mythology of Ilinoth. It's traditionally been
Buddhist and Asian, and Japanese.
I do find it, and I do like we know the goddesses in OG are powerful. It's insane. That's what this is what the sword does. The sword.
We haven't even gotten to the throne.
The sword. Yeah, not.
And we haven't even gotten to the throne.
Yeah, the other part of his
In order
power.
to wield the sword, you must also sit on the throne.
So, I mean, my guess now is, knowing what we know about the sword, is that the sword is what lets you cut through to gain access, but the throne is what lets you create. Would be my guess. Like this, you know, it's like 2 steps to the set to a process. Like, if the throne is the engine of creation, then the sword is what lets you drive the engine where it needs to be.
The name, originally, according to the mythology, is a Buddhist deity who is the blade is regarded for like slaying demons, if I recall correctly. So,
which was a big part of Elon's role, from what we gather.
Yeah.
Fighting evil entities in the other side.
I want to bring this up. Hebe talks about other things that needed to be fought and warded off before the Mara existed, which is fucking insane.
Yep.
I'm genuinely like super interested in that. But yeah, very, very, very fun. I'm getting a lot of world building.
Rodell with a line I think really cuts deep. He wore his arrogance like a blindfold. That is a line that connects to Nile, obviously, but also Hayato and a whole bunch of other characters.
Of course.
Within.
Man,
Rodell. So sorry, buddy.
Yeah.
I'm having a hard time looking at them now. Like, ooh. I mean,
Seema Rivet,
question.
How little he knows.
I'm not saying I expected it to happen to Seema, but like Seema dying was not that big of a surprise.
Rodell.
I'm Rodell dying.
I mean, all of the CJ OG shards have had death flags.
I thought Alan, dude.
Yes.
I mean, I still think I'm right in what's going to happen to.
We
Alan,
talked about this.
But I still thought Alan was dying first. I swear.
No,
I thought he was.
I thought. I'm pretty sure that Alan
will be the last to die.
Alan will be the last one, but he's going to be the one who he's going to turn it around and do a self-sacrifice.
Yeah. So the thing is, with we should have realized with Anon, the characters that want to die don't get to. We should have fucking realized that from the beginning.
Right. No, my guess is that Alan will make a play at Nile, bail, and then give his own core and and Seema's core to CJ to finish the job.
Yeah.
You know, CJ, you know what to do. Finish the job.
Take care of Myrna for me.
Exactly. Then he'll probably pass Myrna in a redemptive moment to him.
And then we'll get. I'm sure we'll get some actual in-depth. We're not done with Alan backstory. I would be so shocked.
No, I would not be shocked if we get a full chunk of Alan's most traumatic moments in the next chapter. Because remember, 58's the emotional low point.
Again, it's the emotional low point for everybody, and not just CJ.
Seema actually is showing he's a smart dude. Like, as foolhardy as ambition may make a man, you are asking one of us to be. He's not stupid. He's a canny guy.
No, he's not. I don't think he is. Fucking Alan.
I'd say he's the smartest of the shards. Like, he's the cleverest of the 3 shards we've got. While you all share a close affinity, is why I suspect you could, the blade will reject you and appear in another time far, far from this place. That will limit now. So Nile needs some kind of pre-existing connection to ride along to get to these worlds. Which makes sense.
He already has them because of the connection.
Yeah, because of their presence. So he can follow their strings back to their world.
Once one of them tries to touch
the sword,
it'll go away from the worlds that she's limited him to. Which
no. The way this is said to me, it sounds like he can reach the worlds that are connected to them by following their strings back to them, but he needs the sword to access others.
Yes,
but she's blocked. But she in turn can block him from reaching those other worlds.
No.
Because
so
of those same
strings. I think. Well, I would argue that it seems like he'd be able to go to any world he wants if Hebe wasn't limiting him to the ones that he could already go to because of the connection of the other shards being.
Yes.
Yeah. But the sword would let him bypass that. Yes,
but because the sword is already within the realms that he's in, because it's
within
his realm.
It's within OG's realm.
Yeah,
the inner realm, as it were.
But once it goes away, then as she says, it's a long-term solution. But we'll have to figure out, which would explain again if Hebe doesn't end up disappearing or whatever. her sticking around to limit.
I really
Nile.
hope not. I would love to see. I know it's very much just my own personal thing, but I'd love to see a romance.
No, I would too. With
Hebe and CJ.
I
think that would be really.
I want
to
reiterate. I don't have any evidence for her disappearing. It would make sense.
No, I mean it would make sense narratively.
It does
meta-narratively.
Meta-narratively, I'm so surprised. I'm like, she's dying next episode, right? Like it's gonna happen.
Or going away in some shape or form.
Something bad.
But then again, Anon has played us before, where we're like,
in order to stop
couldn't
Nile,
think he could pull something off. So.
Hebe definitely feels responsible for creating this fucking monster. Her doing whatever to sacrifice herself to get rid of Nile totally makes sense. I mean, come on.
Or even going further than that, if we follow through on the theory mentioned earlier, where she hands her mantle to.
Why do you think this is, by the way?
Ash and.
2 colors are needed because Elenoth was shattered into multiple pieces. There needed to be one who was capable of being more than one color.
Or at least that there's a chirality element, like you talked about, where there needs to be a balancing force.
No, I mean, I'm not... Could be. I think 2 is the part that I'm like, why 2? Because it could have been like, you have to have all 4, or you have to have whatever. Like, to me, if the sword is locked behind something, the true heir should have all 4. Why isn't it 4 colors?
Sure. I think you could make the argument that if you have one color, you're going to go completely unhinged. Whereas if you have 2, you have a greater chance of calling other colors towards you in time.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
But as one, you're just going to be pure chaos.
This could also just
be
wait,
you know what? Maybe
lying. She might even be outright lying here to create the necessary components.
No, actually, I have a change of opinion. I think it's either what Rayze just said, or it's because Hebe's the one that made this lock. Like, it's either that. It would make total sense for her to be like, yeah, you have to have 2 colors, which is why I locked it.
Well, because it's worth remembering
Nile only has 1 color.
Nile only has 1.
Yeah. And I have 2. Meaning I can grab it if I need to, and yeah.
It is absolutely worth remembering, though. In the prologue, we see him wielding the sword a lot. Like, he's using it all the time.
And Crow's even like, you don't have to strain yourself, which I always thought was weird.
But this is the funny thing. But now we know why that is, because apparently wielding that sword is even dangerous, even for.
Which again is I still am not super like. It could be an explanation as to the stuff on his arms as well, but I still think that's from the.
No, I still think that's the merging.
From the
effect.
melding, yeah, from the merging.
Yeah, I still think that's the merging effect.
None of you can do it alone, except me.
But it's interesting then that she retrieved the sword after that fight and went.
Rodell.
But I'm just saying it would make sense if he did, and then.
I want to point out Rodell's wrong here, because if you're the only choice, Nile would have eliminated you. He tried. He put his hand through his chest.
And Rodell doesn't know that, does he?
Yep. Yeah.
And Alan just being a dick, as he just can't help it. Because he sees things. Because Alan is a dick. He's the kind of guy, though. He sees like the worst in people because that's what he sees in himself.
Yeah.
And she's bringing up some good points too.
Yeah, I mean, Seema is like the personification of the hermit's wisdom, right?
And again,
but I think it's really important that
I was gonna say it's really important that everybody that hates on Alan needs to read what he says here, please. Like, come on, guys. Bear with me here. There's a reason why he's a dick, and it's because of this right here. Okay.
Yeah, but it's really interesting to me that Hebe doesn't. She's been quite direct and upfront otherwise, but she doesn't talk about like, oh, you're doing this to save everyone ahead. Like, she knows these people well enough by now, or people like them to know that would have been the best way. Instead, she deliberately sets it up for Alan to do this and behave in this way. And then, I have seen to that, she says, about protecting your worlds. I only ask you to repay such kindness by saving many more where no one else can.
Yeah, but she's right. You will not experience another attack on your world like the ones
as long as I
exist.
And she's planning on vanishing into.
Yeah. That's what I mean. I'm like,
I only ask you to
there's several layers. Like, I'm about to not exist. Also, I'm referring to the attacks you've already faced, and Nile is not one of them. Fuck you.
Well, the thing is, she's not being a bit. It's not like a thing she's being traitorous with, because with Nile defeated and Tsukiko has all the keystones now, the goddesses can't attack worlds.
Yep. I mean, again, she's right. And then
you could have
again.
So he's not unreasonable.
I was
he's
about
not
to say,
like
Alan softening a little bit, like, well, you could have led with that. Like, I wouldn't have been a dick to you, right? Like, just saying.
Yeah, but it's important to note that she didn't. Like, she would know that. And I know you could just chalk it up to her just being shit at communicating, which is valid. But it is. But I don't feel. And is so deliberate throughout this whole chapter and the previous one so many times.
This is why Rodell pisses Niall off right here. It's because this is what we were born for. Who are we to refuse fate? And that's
he's very.
Alan hates that. I said Niall. I meant.
But Alan hates it because I think he sees parts of his old self. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Alan was that naive once. At least in Alan's view, Alan would call it naivete because Rodell is not naive.
He knows how much the world is.
Yeah, like he comes from the legally distinct Warhammer fantasy world.
Mm-hmm.
That place is the epitome of a shithole. He knows, like, that's why he didn't flinch when they went through Niall's world. That's just a Tuesday for Rodell.
The Tuesday.
I think one of the main reasons that Alan doesn't get
Seema
is that Alan on some level is aware that Rodell isn't stupid and naive, really.
Dude.
But that Rodell is able to triumph over the despair that Alan himself has succumbed to.
That line is such a death flag.
I know. That's like saying I'm one day away from retirement.
Right?
I know. But what's so funny is that it's so sad to think about this from Seema's point of view because of how the slow time works in his world.
Yeah, so
this has happened back to back to back. Like, I'm not surprised that this has all happened in a single fucking day for this dude. Like,
it has, because they arrived home and that was what, 4 weeks for CJ? And then so if you
it's probably been a couple days, but it's in the same week.
That's still
hours.
So
I think
short.
It's been hours even, because even if 8 months, if like 6 weeks, right? Like 4 to 6 weeks is like a minute, because that's how long they'd literally been back. They'd literally come back, lit the braziers, and then everybody turned up, which is literally a span of a few minutes. On top of that. That's for weeks for CJ, and then you have like an 8-month time skip for CJ, and now everything's happened after that.
It's probably
succession.
a day, maybe
it's less than a day. Days. Like, I would say it's probably been like 10, 12 hours tops.
Yeah, poor Seema.
And Seema's, which really puts his like sanguine nature in perspective. But Alan, like, look, bet you'll have all the free time. Like, there is an element of like he wants it over.
Well, one less adventure, huh? But you'll find time for all of your girlfriends, huh? Do you know, Alan? Do you know what happened at the beginning of this chapter? I'm starting to think maybe you do.
Yeah, but the thing is here to me, what that says to me is really important, is that I think CJ is the only one Alan feels real kinship with.
I think so too, especially after the last
because he's not like this with anyone else. Like,
because CJ
I think there is a cultural element. Yeah, but not just that. I think there's also like a cultural element of like CJ's man. But most of all, I think it's that moment of bonding they had in last chapter, where they like shared.
Yeah, CJ talked about.
Like,
was like. This is probably the first time that I think that's going to be likely the first time Alan has talked about what happened.
And someone else knows. I doubt Alan is capable of really talking about losing the love of his life. Like, he doesn't seem the sharing kind. And so
but to find someone who shares at least understands on some level.
Yeah, CJ says, I saw it, like, I'm not trying to hide it. I saw it. I didn't mean to.
The first thing that Alan talks about when he sees CJ here is like, where's the other one you were with?
Where's Leia?
Yeah, where's Leia?
Like, immediately, like, is asking about the girl that kind of looks like is the one
that right.
He senses on some level is like
it's I mean, look, this is why I try to give Alan credit here. Alan is what would have happened to CJ, I guarantee you, if CJ didn't have the help that he had. CJ has gotten so much help. It's not like he didn't do anything. That's not what I mean.
But
there's so many different forces playing. Alan got no help whatsoever and didn't get all of his help at the same time. He found one shard and then another, and then that shard went crazy, and then we have no idea what happened. Like, come on.
If CJ didn't have Sarah and Jamie and Mizzy, like that whole like side of things, I think he would have probably very likely ended up a lot like Alan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we know that, and here's the thing. We know that you don't have to find your shards, right? Like, seriously, he could have not have found the Keon shard at all. And he found the Carpo shard, and the Keon shard was already fucking crazy and full goddess form, right? Like, there's no context to, we don't know.
It was kind of like that even. He's like, it was like a years-long winter.
Well, yeah, the way it seems to have worked out, though, is kind of weird to me. The timing's a little off, but I think because we know a goddess can revisit a world once they've been there. Like, they know that an OG show, even if their shards aren't present, they can't exert much power, but they can, like, put their finger in, as it were.
Yeah.
So my guess would be that, they defeated the Keone shard fairly early on, and then Keone kept revisiting to try to get to Alan. And they would repulse her, not be able to defeat her, but they would be able to push her out of the world.
Yeah.
And then, but eventually, as time went by, his own shard decayed and decayed and decayed. And it all fell apart.
So what do we do?
I'm going to send you back. Oh, man. Well, at least for this part, like, it'll be stuff that we can talk about, but we don't have to go super in-depth over stuff we already know.
No, I mean, this is your fairly standard, you're going to face your inner demon stuff.
But in particular for CJ stuff, we know.
Yeah, and we've kind of talked a lot about what's going to come up shortly. Mostly we'll be talking about how it impacts on Ashley suddenly being brought into the full awareness of how fucked up stuff was. Or is, I should say.
Seema, Alan, Rodell.
They all leave, and then CJ's like,
I figured.
But this is a really important conversation. I really want everyone to pay very close attention to
so many times CJ has asked questions and she just doesn't answer him.
Yeah,
and it keeps happening here.
You can't do this. She doesn't say why he can't, though. She just says, not alone, not the way you are. Okay, this is where we're now going to get heavily into the Price Noche stuff, right? The know thyself. In the Matrix, when Neo goes to see the Oracle, and he asks, in a later movie, he says, "Why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you tell me that I'm like the sixth one, right?" And all this sort of stuff. And she just looks at him, nods at the thing above his head. It's a sign that says, in Latin, know thyself. Because you're not ready to hear these facts. Like, self-awareness, self-transcendence is a personal journey. You cannot force someone along it. It's something that is unique to you. You
cannot be spent on this task.
Yeah. You see what I mean? I'm just, oh man.
You are needed for another person.
She knows she just spent Rodell, Seema, and Alan.
Yeah.
Like, she knows she just burned them.
Well,
I think so too.
For the sake of saving everybody, those three, even Alan, would be willing to do that. I truly do believe.
I agree.
So but the thing is, if they talked about it ahead of time, what she needs to have happen wouldn't have happened, right?
Yeah.
Well, they need things to follow a particular line.
Alan wouldn't have. We would have been like, why? Or actually, maybe he would have because he wants to die. But that's.
Yeah.
So she tells him, like, she doesn't need to tell CJ.
You must survive to keep Sachiko in balance.
So I don't understand why. I mean, I don't know.
You must survive.
She keeps talking, but like,
I can tell you why.
I don't know why CJ doesn't pick up more on this right here, because this is
right.
Because CJ's still locked into the trauma. He's still locked into the trauma from 50-51. He's better now, but he still sees himself as like on borrowed time, and he sees himself as a fake, and he sees himself as like, that's why his initial reaction isn't like being angry at her that he wasn't teleported in. He's just like, guess I didn't make the cut, because in his mind, of course he didn't make the cut. He's not actually an OG shard.
If you go back a couple of lines, right, when he says, I didn't make the cut, I guess I didn't make the cut, she tells him,
And it's a smile on his face. It's a knowing smile.
Yeah, she's like, you can't do this. But she's like,
not alone,
not alone,
the way that you are.
not
And
the
then
way
she
you are.
says,
And then she tells him how to do it.
Get
She's
you
like,
there.
you
Yeah.
can't do this. Here's how to do it. Like,
Don't think I'd make a good Elenath. And that's such a telling line, because guess what? TB talks about this later with the way identity works.
Not alone and not the way that you are. This solves
he doesn't need to
this solves the alone part. That doesn't solve the way that you are part.
But he doesn't need to be Elenath, and that's what he needs to realize. You don't need to be Elenath.
And
you might be taking up his mantle.
Doesn't answer his question here. Don't think
I'll
make a good
doesn't
one.
doesn't
I wasn't
answer
lying.
it.
None of them are nowhere near strong enough.
None of them.
Yeah, right. You cannot be spent.
None of them are strong enough.
Kurokawa
and then she tells him,
it will kill whoever tries to wield it.
She has no need to tell him that.
But you know why she told him that? To guarantee that CJ will pick up the sword.
Yep, absolutely.
Because he thinks he's dead already.
Yep, she is literally making him choose to do this.
But the thing is, it's not even really manipulative in a malevolent sense.
It's just knowing what
because at the end
is.
he's like, I want to do this, and she's like, "But you do?"
We may simply cause another shattering or worse. Can you And there's the threat factor that to nudge him even more into it.
Yeah.
Kurokawa is his instrument, which means that he made it at some point, which is interesting.
It's not malicious because there is no harm.
Yeah, it's just a natural.
It's very interesting that
form.
I mean, as a concept, if you make a sword like this, I'm assuming he made it to contain the abilities of it, right?
Yes.
So he had those abilities.
It's a tool. Then, ultimately, a sword is a tool. A weapon is a tool, and that's why he made it. But the form it takes is probably more of a conceptual question rather than a physical one.
And what's funny is
they
don't need to do this, right? They don't need to do this.
Go back. Its power can be maintained by all four colors. Burning light of a okay. And then its power. Okay, keep going. And then you get the line. I have no memory of it, but I suspect even he couldn't withstand its impediments. Power forever. Next line.
But
the blade may be why our soul. Okay, so if we consider that the sword is what actually did the shattering on a physical physical level, did he give the sword to Crow to use on him to break him apart?
I was gonna say we've been told a bunch of times, a ton of times, that connections are unbreakable. You can't break bonds. It's impossible, right? One half has to die or something like that in order for that connection to be severed, right? Why wouldn't this fucking blade be able to do that? This blade,
but the swords, and it's also worth noting that the bonds aren't broken; the bonds are shattered. There is a difference.
Well, and she laid all of this out, right? She's laid all of this out. They don't need to do this to stop Nile. Nile doesn't have 4 colors. He doesn't even have 2 colors. He can't get to the blade. He can't pick it up. It would kill him. It doesn't matter how powerful he is.
Really
he doesn't have 4.
She sends him the people he needs to eat, to consume, to get the ability to reach the sword.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing that would happen is that Nile would wreak havoc to their worlds, which wouldn't, of course, they wouldn't want that. But
sure.
But for the greater good, it's why don't I just do that?
But no, it's really
this is the better solution.
I mean, their worlds are somewhat at risk, but he can't use the sword by her own logic. Nile can't use the sword. He can't reach it. It will just kill him or go away from him. So that in turn indicates that then you ask, why on earth then would you send 3 people or 4 that if he eats him, eats one of them, he will have the power to act.
He asks a question. She doesn't answer it.
No, she says no.
She does. She does answer.
Yeah, but the answer she gives isn't necessarily what he thinks he's hearing.
Yeah.
I was meant for this.
I was meant this, wasn't I? You weren't.
No.
I feel like it's semantics. You weren't meant for that. Looking off into the distance.
No, yeah, but bear in mind, CJ's talking about dying. He's talking about killing himself to use the sword to save everyone.
Yeah, you weren't. Meant for
he's saying, so that's what I mean. That's what I meant to do. I meant to die, right?
Yes, but
I said
I'll be the guy. And she's like,
he shouldn't have said, "I was meant for this. I was meant for this, wasn't I?" You weren't meant. No, you weren't meant.
And
for
no,
that.
she's like, no,
No,
you weren't, because
this
you're
isn't
meant
what
to
you-
take his place.
Yeah.
And,
I'll do it.
yeah,
I'll be the guy. I love that. I love that so much when he said that.
Because CJ is still hung up on, like, I'm going to die, but I want to do all the good I can before I go.
Because of this. You already said you weren't him. I didn't
So
say
why
that.
change your mind now?
I
was gonna
didn't say
I
that.
am so ready for the end of, like, when this all comes to a head and we finally get that fucking CJ theme again with him. I'm so fucking ready for this fucking moment.
But she's now also making him speak out loud why he wants to do things. He said earlier, I don't know why. He says it later, I don't know what I want. But here, he's saying exactly what he wants.
Yep.
He wants to save the people he loves and the people he feels responsible for hurting just by existing. Either I succeed or I don't, and the sword is success.
Which again, fair point. I mean, right? One or two things is going to happen. He wins.
Isn't that good enough?
He wins, right? Well,
no, you don't understand. Your time may be short, but you are still a human and deserve to end your life as one.
Okay, see, this is the thing.
That's such
why?
That's
No matter what happens, what happens, your life as a human ends.
Yes.
Like, yes. As a human. That's the thing. She doesn't say a soul or a person. She says as a human.
Yeah.
And we know that CJ is going to have to leave his humanity behind. It's been mentioned before. At some point, CJ is going to have to leave his humanity behind to become what he needs to become.
That's one of the first things Crow tells him.
I know. Hold on. That's the thing, right? Crow's the one that says that. I was pretty sure that when you said that, it was Crow that said it. I'm glad you said that.
But not just Crow. Not just Crow. Others say it as well.
No, I know. I don't fully disagree with that, but I also think that I don't know, maybe different concepts of what it means to be human and what other people think.
Okay, so the key, they're talking about mortality. They're talking about human mortality.
Is that what you think it's referencing?
I think that's what Hebe is talking about very specifically, yes. I think Hebe is being very specific in her language.
I still think being human is very important to this story.
But there's a difference between being human and having humanity. Hebe has humanity. She's not human, but she has humanity. That's the difference we're talking about. But he says human, very specifically.
I still find it so funny that the way she describes what the sword is here, like, it isn't just connected to space. It's connected to everything everywhere. It's connected, right? And that's her whole entire MO.
That's probably why she took it, to try and use it to try and take the throne. Because it was the most similar to her.
The way I do, the way he did.
Yeah. Similar, but not the same. To feel even a fraction of the pain. But this is the thing. I think she shares Charles C. Jacob / Elenath's guilt and shame that they're passing the weight of this responsibility and all of the baggage and horror and pain that comes with it onto these to them children.
Yeah. And
that was his strength, but also his weakness. You're talking about CJ. She's still CJ's exactly the same. He will take responsibility even when he shouldn't, because that's who he is.
It's not fair to expect this from someone already.
Suffering so much as you, not as a means to an end. So, this is literally her apologizing. She's genuine. This is an apology.
Yeah.
By just without a sorry or an.
If you are to, I would have you do this. I would have you surrounded by loved one, Pat. I would have you do that. That's what she intends. But that's not what's going to happen.
She's saying he can do this. She's saying, you can do this.
And then you put this together with what is said to Misaki in 51 by Child CJ / Jacobs, whatever you want to call them.
And there his hair color changes again.
Yeah, he's brighter. But it's really, like I said, it's important to note that we should put what she said together with what Charles CJ says to Misaki about the guilt he feels for putting all of this pressure on them. It resonates very strongly. And I know where I need to be. There's no time to waste.
Yep.
And they can feel the grim determination, because CJ thinks he's going to die now. He thinks he's going to go and he's going to die. Even if it works, he's convinced. He knows he's dying. He's quotation marks knows he's dying.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting that he sends them away. Because he doesn't want them to see. Yeah, see, Sarah's picked up on it. She's now... So I wonder who that is.
Yeah, I was going to say, who do we...
I mean, it could be Hayato. Hayato's a good guess. It's a good bet that it's Hayato watching. But it could be a number of other people. It could be Rebecca.
I was going to say, my first thought was... specifically where we are at, I thought it was Rebecca,
Cameron.
but the darkness, but the darkness makes me think it's one of the ghosts or it's Hayato.
Yeah, so there's a number of possibilities there.
I looked back at that frame for like
I know, same.
I looked so many times.
Well, no, because dude, Anon, I can't remember what we were talking about, but Anon sent me a screenshot from chapters like 19, or no, it was during Leah's arc, so it would have been like 30 something, right? Where like they were looking
from the
off,
boat.
yeah, they were looking off the bow, and there was a little light on the water in the distance, and he was like, "Who do you think that was?" And I was like, "You fucking son of a bitch!" Like I had no way to know that, but why would you point that out to me? Fucking Anon.
I love you too, Jamie. Oh, such a lot of heart in that, because Jamie knows, like she knows that, like.
I could not love thee half so much, loved I not honor more.
Exactly. Yeah, I've seen it only in your dreams. It feels so familiar. Yeah, it should, because this is where he had his encounter with Human Crow as Sarah. Gosh, it gets complicated so quickly. You get to see some of Ash's pure, like her underlying insecurity, just there, a little flash of it.
Yeah.
CJ is just like, you'll be there too. We just one day, we'll get there, and it's like, we'll better get started then.
They do the Helldiver salute.
I still find it strange her ring is on her left hand. It does kind of lend itself to your theory, Omen, that there's going to be a splitting of the ring there, and it's going to be both of them as Hebe. Mm-hmm. But yes, K31 is still here, which means that she was.
And there's two glints off of that ring. It could be just because it's braided, but I don't know.
It's hard to say, isn't it?
It is.
We'll see. There's plenty number of ways this could still go.
Yeah.
When we talk about, we're going to talk about this for sure, but it's a little bit messy when we talk about Misaki and Ashley, because it should just be like one's green, one's the other color, right?
Right, you'd think,
right? But, one's green, one's blue. Because of who Ashley is supposed to be, she should have both. It makes sense because she's not born in this world traditionally. Yeah. And then Misaki's only being one color isn't strange because she was supposed to be a twin, so it's like maybe it's explained by going, oh well,
no, Misaki wasn't supposed to be a twin. She's one shot.
No,
would have
would have been had Crow not interfered. Hebe says that.
I don't know if that. I think we're reading that in two different ways. I don't think that's the case.
Oh, well, okay, we can go back and look at it later. It's fine. Regardless, I do wonder if that's also why if she has a lot more green, Ashley does in her, than she has the blue, because in very early chapters...
She would have been primarily green.
Yeah. I think that... No, I mean, there's another much more... Occam's razor applies here, and there's a more simple explanation. That power has gone to Shiori and Haruki.
Sure. Well, I think I want to say the blue has.
We haven't seen them in a while.
The reason why I think it's the blue that was split across, which is why Misaki's so weak. I think that Ashley has a lot more green is because whenever they first go into the other side in the very, very early chapters, remember, Ashley can't see out of one eye and her blue's completely gone because she's like, I don't know what's going on. It's only her green eye that you can see.
Yeah.
And the other one's dulled and it's like gray. I think that
she is noted to have a lot of green energy as well.
Okay. All right, very important because we talked about this a bunch during this chapter, but this is pretty much Hebe talking to Misaki about Child CJ.
Just a day or so ago, but he seemed different, like he was sick, which fits with our theory that he's spending a lot of power to pull off this plan and it's gradually killing him.
Doesn't remember any of those.
He wouldn't. Of course he wouldn't. Of course he wouldn't, because it's not him. Yes,
but aren't they?
Yeah.
Yes and no.
Yes
yeah,
and
this is literally just Hebe talking to us. Like, yes, you're here you go.
For the same reason, Kieran doesn't remember every conversation
So
you do.
even if you do remember every conversation Kieran has.
Just everything and nothing.
Which to me speaks to the speaks to.
I love this.
If we go back a bit to that where she says for the same reason that you and Kieran. So the key element here to me is that Kieran ultimately is in Misaki's body. So the reason Misaki remembers everything Kieran experiences is because it's her body. So whereas Kieran doesn't remember everything Misaki experiences because she is an outsider entity, essentially, ultimately, in Misaki's body. So if we follow that logic, because Hebe compares that to CJ.
Yeah.
That, to me, is heavily implies that CJ, his body is Jacob's, and he's assuming the role of Jacob in the world that Jacob should have had. That is why to me, that's very heavily implying that we were right, and that he's been pushed into that role. And more to the point, that child CJ / Jacob / Elenath and CJ are spiritually connected in the same way that Kieran and Misaki are.
I agree.
Which is going to be the means by which CJ ascends.
This gives us a chance.
Ow, who is he then? Everything and nothing you're expecting, that line is a repeat of what Tsukiko says to CJ when they are at when they see the goddesses that she's chained up.
Hey, Rayze.
Like, oh, why aren't the goddesses speaking to us? Like, outside the seal.
Don't do it, Omen. You're gonna piss him off.
Hey, Rayze.
I'll fucking stab you. I will stab you in the face.
I heard, hey, Rayze, and immediately my eyes lit up. Like, whoa.
God, I will charter a plane and firebomb your house. I do not care.
Vindication.
But I swear to God. But you see what I'm saying, though, right? It really heavily sets up for me that CJ is being pushed into has assumed the role that was perhaps originally intended for Jacob, but Jacob has very deliberately orchestrated events to push CJ into that position so that he could have Tsukiko's ring and resolve the problem.
This is your first port call on the
Yeah, it is really interesting that this is the first place they go to, is into Misaki and Hebe's and Misaki's soul. And well, yeah, this is Misaki's soul, really.
Unexpected.
When he attempted the journey once he found you. Because they're probably the closest to him right now.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense also thematically with the connection thing.
Yeah, and because their ability is connection, of course they're going to make it easier for him to connect with himself.
This is not a fun trip.
I wonder if he was supposed to say something there. But...
Yeah, I think that's a missing line.
You think so?
I think it's going to be fixed for the public release.
What, Omen? What are you going to fucking say?
I think it was just him getting ready to say something, and
then Misaki cuts in.
Well, to be fair, Anon does that.
I'm sorry, just staring at Misaki.
Yeah.
It's just
you get a
big up on myself.
So mad. I talked to Anon and Rayze about this, but there's one scene where CJ's sitting on the couch in a little bit that I thought Anon pulled off perfectly with the slides. I legitimately, like, it's not funny.
This
scene.
Is so important. Sorry to interrupt, but we need to stop so
you're
we can
good.
talk about this once you're done.
No, you're good. We'll get to it.
But if you just go back to the start of this little exchange between Hebe and Ashley.
Hebe,
what am I supposed to be doing? Ashley doesn't that. And Ashley, he says, I wasn't sure until now, but you two will help him reach his innermost point. I wonder if that's a bigger thing that she's answering there as to why Ash is here in the first place, as it existing on this this story. Like, is this why Ashley Prime is here ultimately to guide CJ to where he needs to be?
Or if it's just the order, we go blue-green first, and that means we need Misaki and Ashley here.
Maybe, or both. Maybe that's why Ashley is here, so that she can be a part of it.
Yep.
But yeah, you experienced something similar with Kieran, Misaki. Again, referencing that. Be warned, though, you will see and experience his most repressed memories. And
we get a darker look at something that is contentious in the community.
Yeah.
Well,
any shard of Elanath will
I know.
inevitably
I'm pretty sure I know what you're talking about.
You're-
But I'm
you're
like,
the one
how
who talks
worse could it be? Already.
Don't-
know this
It- we've never.
Go back one.
What's up?
You talked about this, didn't you? One forward one, you missed a line. There. Any shard of Elanath will inevitably find the same place if they look deep enough. Okay, is this why they die? Like, Hayato talks about them just dying seemingly out of nowhere, right?
If they look deep enough and try to grab the sword, they die.
Exactly, and then they die because they're not strong enough or what don't we
Right, they're not. They're not.
Hold on. That would actually be so insane because any death that's not goddess related and the CJ shards just die because
It's because they
are
inevitably
like
a heart
Cameron.
attack, right?
Yeah.
None of them like. There is no precedent that we've seen for CJ shards like having kids and passing on the shardness, whatever the fuck you want to call it, like
Right, yeah, we have
Right.
like the
precedent
girls
of that.
do.
We know that
That would be
so
fucking
Hayato's
insane.
heart-
Except
but-
like they have a dream about the sword and they just touch it, not knowing what it is.
Hayato, it's worth noting, Hayato specifically says at one point, I delayed things, but they came back anyway. And I think he was talking about OG shards. I think that his attempt to delay is like, you know, it didn't work, right? So, like, even if you kill an OG, like if you kill an OG shard, it's gone. So there's only one shot. Even if they have a kid, that's it. Game
It
over.
may not, yeah.
But if you push them back, who knows what will happen, which is how we got the situation we did. Yeah, I believe we can accomplish the same. If only, I only wish it weren't necessary. Gosh, I think she's talking about this whole situation with that line.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
because it's such a big. Because she knows she's like, this is like we're continuing forward, and this is such a big burden to place on CJ again after everything.
But the fact he's doing it willingly is the key here. He's choosing to do it because that's who he is. That's the lesson. Part of the lesson that I think.
You know what's crazy? We're still not even on Black Headband yet.
Oh. Anyway, but that is not 100% accurate anymore. He has said so.
I feel like the Black
And
Headband.
actually, it's just like, damn, that was hot. I think Misaki was as well.
Of course. But I want more Misaki content.
I do too. I want her to be more around more. She has been around a lot, but more.
No, she has. It's not like she hasn't, but she's really important. It's just
I want her to get a human body is what I want, but that's a whole other conversation.
Yeah.
well, it's because
And Hebe's face just there, like that's a very deliberate expression that is given to her.
Yeah.
By Anon, where it is pain, it is like shame and grief all at the same time.
Ready,
Indeed
Freddy.
you are.
Indeed, you are.
What direction? And it's so that she asks Ashley. This is really important. She asks Ashley where to go, and Ashley just intuits the answer. She doesn't even really like struggle or anything. She's just like, well, if down takes us into Kieran, up should take us where we need to go. That's where
good.
Thunder comes from, referencing to the line that the CJ has this interaction with Hebe way back at the start of Kieran's, well, not the start, but like in Kieran's arc, where what was it? You're the thunder in my ears and you're the lightning in my heart, or something along those lines.
Yes.
Very classic line for a Hebe and OG shard thing.
It's also where we point up.
And CJ's like, wait, what? She's like, think about it. This
It's
is the
also
most important
where-
line she drops.
it's also
I've
where
told
you
you who
point-
all the pieces are. Do you know which is which? That line is gonna fucking haunt us. I'm telling you.
Again, I'm telling you. I told you. This line vindicates my theory. Vindication, right here. Everybody turns into everybody.
I will murder you both.
Tell me I'm wrong, Rayze. Tell me it doesn't fucking make sense. Chapter 100, everybody
It makes
becomes
sense,
the
but you
same.
could have used a different word. I hate you so fucking much. Pieces of me. This whole exchange. Pieces of me. What makes you you? Who are you, Jacob? Are you Elanath? Are you, like, you know? This is taking him through the discussion, and it is circular. Like, CJ is right when he points out how circular this discussion is. But that's the point: is to get him to think about it.
It's together. It's everything.
Yeah, but also it's to get him to ask the question of like, is this even because again, last chapter she says if you look for the dividing differences that define people as completely separate entities, the closer you look, the less you will find that to be the case.
Let's hold on. Let me reread that real quick.
Am I simply there's some other god? See, this speaks to the theory we've talked about this chapter with Ashley and Misaki taking her position because they are her, so it's passing the mantle.
I think he'd be really because I've talked about this before about how the other girls reacted to their goddesses and how their goddesses viewed them as like small or inconsequential or like, oh no, you're a part of me, but like you're gonna do what we want to do, like what I want to do anyway, like specifically with Teresa.
I'm the macroorganism, you're the microorganism.
Yeah, right, exactly. And Hebe's like, no, we're literally the same. It could have just been her, and I could have been in her position. Yeah. There is no difference here. And she, of course, it'd be Hebe that has the right view of how she views her shards, right? Unlike all the other goddesses. Yeah, because that's her whole thing. She understands.
Also, she isn't crazy, which helps. You know.
Of course, again, we have to give the other goddesses a little bit of like leeway because like they're fucked up and how they view shit.
They came from you. Do you know that? They came from.
Pretty sure.
Where did I come from? So this is the thing. Like, if I knew, but this is the thing, right? If you split off a piece of someone and then put it back again, they're still a person, but their experience.
Well, I think part of that is in reference to Ashley Prime. Like,
right.
If you take a piece of a goddess like Ashley Prime when she was first created and let her grow.
What really are you? What do you want from life? This is really very revealing.
Yeah,
this is so good.
Like Rodell, I want to fulfill my promises. I want to be greeted. So like Rodell has already accepted it. Like because of the world he comes from, death is a natural thing. He's accepted death as a concept and its inevitability for himself. Seema is a hermit. He's turned his back on the world and wishes simply to live out his existence. Until it ends.
He had the whole setup until he got
right. Fucking goddamn it. Anyway,
I knew that would fucking piss you off. And then of course, please read what Alan says here. I stopped wanting anything.
Why? I know I can't have what I really desire, not anymore. It was my fault. I know I deserve it.
It's yellow and purple, baby.
All three of these.
Does she say the same?
All three of these are death wishes. All three of what they.
Yeah, of course.
I wouldn't say death. I wouldn't say death wish in Rodell or Seema sense. More of an acceptance death.
Right.
They accept its inevitability.
I would agree. It's just how do you want to live your life, and then they give the end result of how they live their life, which would result in death. But that's not the point. I get it.
All three of them are talking about the end. All three of them
but she
specifically talk about.
Alan, I love you, dude.
This is everything you need to understand about Alan is in this conversation.
I know. Would she say the same? No, of course she wouldn't. But she's a far better person than I am. Alan, come on, man.
If you could have it, would you?
Yes.
Without any hesitation.
But I would settle for making the world the way that she thought it was, the way it should be.
The way it should be. That way she still lives on, right? And what do you want? And this is where Jake, like CJ's like, I don't know.
Well, we know. He says he doesn't know what he wants.
Because he doesn't know where he ends.
Yeah. You do not like the ability to want. Has it done me any good? Yeah.
Has it? Every time I wanted something, it's turned to ash. Turned to ash. Oh.
I feel like, I feel like that's kind of intentional.
I thought I saved them. Why wouldn't you? Did I make them this way? Would they have been better off without me? Obviously, talking about the girls. You actually
and then
had a choice.
He's
right. She's right. Yeah, you didn't really have to do any of us.
That's got reiterated to CJ a bunch. Like, you didn't have a choice. Like, did you?
But it's struggling against his guilt right now.
Yeah.
He
because CJ's a good person.
Now.
Yeah.
And not just that. Like as Heap says in this conversation, you, despite how angry you are with the goddesses, their goddesses, you still love Leia, and Vic, and Teresa. You're so much closer than you think. I cannot make you understand. That is not my gift. But perhaps she can.
Isn't she peculiar? Ashley. Oh, what a way to describe you, Ashley.
One Ashley and one Hebe, yet we are one, no matter how different we seem on the surface. which is which and which. Like this is that's the most like indicative.
And okay, so we have asked CJ Shards all of this time, and all of them have talked about
death.
The end.
And his is
except
I will survive.
for Nile.
Oh, yes. Great.
Nile is not about
in this blackened hell I will endure. Because for him, survival is enough. Right?
Well, because let's not let's also remember we don't know the exact circumstances other than he got corrupted by the Mara, right? But he was supposed to be enlightened and elevated by her. If I'm given no purpose, I shall create one. Meaning, she gave up on him, and he has no purpose.
Yeah, but we talked about this. We talked about a bit about this last chapter. I genuinely think that his own success bred the arrogance.
Oh, sure.
That
it
was the problem.
The Mara had to be attracted to something to appear.
He already had conquered an entire continent and united it in a positive way before she arrived, uplifted. So she uplifts him, gives him more power, helps him, and then he reaches the apex of what he can achieve on that world. And then he wants to go out further, but she says, "No, you're not ready." And saying no to someone with that kind of personality,
he's won all the time, forever.
Yeah,
and then being told you're not going to win or you're not ready for it.
You're not ready to that. She's like, "What do you mean I'm not ready? I've done all of this."
The Mara have to be attracted to something. And it was
pride is his sin. Pride is his sin. Pride.
And then
pride.
him responding like this, like
spare me,
fucking.
Oh,
yeah. You've despised me ever since we first met. Not true.
Clearly not the case.
But that's how he's justified what he did.
Yeah, absolutely.
You are barred in only. Absolutely true. If he hadn't been such a fuck up, she wouldn't have had to do it.
No, I just don't pretend I lack them.
No, which is a fair statement, but at the same time, it's rationalizing his choices.
Yeah, it's pretending like that behavior isn't what she's talking about.
It's like the person who says, "I'm a selfish person, but I own it, so it's okay." It's like, no, that doesn't make it okay.
Yeah,
just his justification of after seeing what is beyond everything, I think I am entirely justified.
Yeah, he saw the Mara, and he thinks that's
and he
all.
Thinks he is so fucking him. He thinks he is so fucking him. He's like, they will give way to me.
I recognize them where no one else did.
He's picking a fight with entropy, like in a sense.
Yeah,
like, he's like someone who says, "I can just sheer force of will defy the arrow of time."
He's not being a complete idiot. Like, it's not like he's being an idiot here. If you're gonna go ahead and your goal is I'm gonna fight and I'm gonna win against these fucking entities of darkness, he's going about it the wrong way. But he's also going the right direction, which is who else could do that?
Okay, really interesting. It's really interesting you bring that point up, but if we think about it in the context of what I mean, this is all just a flashback to how cute things were.
Do we want to? I'm assuming we don't really need to touch on.
Not until we get to the scene with Vic at the campfire.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say was that the point is made in this chapter and previous ones that fighting and conflict and violence hasn't really fixed anything. It's just perpetuated the problem. Right.
Especially whenever you're
doing. So him responding that way to the Mara is pointless because he even says it himself. The Mara is infinite, basically. Like they are like dark matter. They are like 99% of existence.
His plan is to be just as infinite as the Mara.
But it doesn't work because you can't like an infinite doesn't counter an infinite. Like it doesn't work.
It's just two infinities.
And they're both and so you've got this factor all like layered into itself, and then examine that in the context of what is said by how like you need to give peace a shot, give talking a shot, give finding a way that isn't built on violence a shot, right? On conflict and a zero-sum ending of annihilating one side or another, right? Now factor that in on top of you're gonna hate me a little for pulling it out again. Factor it in on top of the theory that CJ resolves the conflict with Mara by turning them into a person who is Pascal.
Well, we'll see.
Okay. I didn't know if you were gonna.
You see the logic of what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Though?
I would disagree with you. I just didn't think you were gonna mention it. I agree. I mean, with all the information we have in regards, I don't think it's a bad theory. Actually,
I don't think so.
I'm just saying that this could be like another way to interpret as to why it works is because if you can't beat Mara by fighting Mara, if you can't do it through violence, but you do it through, and then just to add a little top on top of that, the ending of the Matrix is literally Neo accepting the dark part of himself, which is the reflection of himself that is Smith, and into himself, and therefore achieving ultimate victory.
I do not think that we have. I think it's intentional that Anon has not given us enough information about the Mara.
Absolutely, this is pure speculation.
Well, no, I know, but the reason I bring this up is because I talked to you about this, but I think that the Mara, like, we don't have a whole lot of information about them, so I can't really say this with 100% certainty, but I do think there's a lot of similarities between them and fairies and how they're created. It's just the opposite, with them being born of fear, pain in the dark, whereas the fairies are born in the light with the hopes and emotions of the world that they're a part of, typically with nature, because that's how things start off, right? Yeah. There could be more connections if we get more information on the Mara, right?
Sure.
I genuinely, I don't have a whole lot of evidence for this, but I was wondering, I was like, what if the reason why, like, after the end of Oot, because this was leading off of the other thing, Oot content exclusive here that we were talking about earlier, by the way, with Oot 2 being in Niall's world after Oot 1, after it was all pain, death, and despair, like, assuming, we don't know what happens to the Mara, but my whole idea was like, well, what if whatever happens to the crew, right? Everybody, CJ maintains the position as the sun and the light comes back. The Mara are really just fairies or some shit like that, right? They're very similar. They're just made in two different, like, aspects. And the reason why I also thought that was because, very wild reference, but in Tropicali, we meet what is most definitely a fae that is pissed off to no fucking end and is not Crow. And the reason I bring that up is because we see no other fae in any content that Anon has made that has been, like, legitimately, like, mad, other than Crow, who is a special case. And I thought, that's really fucking weird, isn't that, Rayze? And he's like, yeah, I thought that is really weird. Why do you think that is? And I'm like, I don't really know. But it happens after Oot 1. We know Tropicali does. I'm just saying.
Yep.
The Mara, and it would fit into your whole idea of, like, well, there's got to be some sort of representative for what, like, unless they just become fairies, right? This is all hypothetical or some shit. The Mara have to be represented by somebody. That could absolutely be who Cursed Girl is. And the whole concept of, like, I'm sending you backwards into the time stream to show you why we're trying to do this and make this work, instead of just killing me or something, right? By making a connection with me instead of killing me and maintaining balance with the darkness or some shit, that could be what Cursed Girl is. Again, Cursed Girl theory is very, very fucking hard to make work, so...
We don't have.
That's why. I mean, one of the reasons I harp on this theory is it's the only one I've come up with after exhaustive work. I don't even want to mention how many hours I've spent poring over Oot to try and figure some of this shit out. It's the only theory I've come up with that I have any degree of confidence in, and so I'm quite happy to find anything that could, like, back it up. But yes, anyway, we've tangented enough. Now this is actually somewhat important. Now we've gone through the initial, like, fluffy memory stuff, which is just really there to add some innocence and make you realize how innocent times were back then. But here we are. This is where CJ, in his mind, this is why we're seeing it. This is where he thinks things went wrong, in a sense, because this is where they should have started a normal saccharine sweet romance. But he couldn't for whatever reason, or things didn't work. Like, this is how things should have gone in his mind.
Yep. Except it didn't.
Except it didn't. Yeah, and this is where Ashley is filled in on all the parts that she's kept for the
this right here, I cannot wait. This wasn't funny, but the way that Anon did it made me, like, just laugh at how fucking well done it was.
I mean, I'm really interested to see how Ash is going to react to Vic when they meet again with this knowledge.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, I don't think she's going to be angry at her, though. I think she's actually going to forgive her, but that's not the point.
No, I do. Yeah. It was this part. It was clearly you're hung up on something, so spill it. And then it was, yeah. When this happened, I was playing it, and I was like, oh, I want to stress,
IRL, never do this to someone who's struggling like Jacob is right now.
Yeah.
Never.
Well,
But it is very entertaining.
Of course, but it is also Ashley, and it's also CJ. It's very different dynamic from what most people would.
Yeah, see, that's fine. Like, you know, you can trust in me, you can confide in me. That's good stuff. But the name calling is where you don't do it. This is where we're supposed to have our awesome character-driven heart-to-heart. What the fuck is that supposed to be? See, yeah, he responds with hostility. Don't respond back with hostility. It doesn't work. Tough love. In actual fact, tough love rarely
every single time
works.
CJ's done this, because he doesn't do this like at all. He's done it with Ashley, and Ashley's been like, "No, you don't get to fucking do that with me. I'm not gonna be fucking sad about it."
It's a very unique part of their dynamic
yes.
that it works.
Yes.
Is what I'm saying.
Because
generally speaking,
hold on,
don't take this as a vindication.
This is why it's a really good representation. I'm not saying all people do this that are best friends, but this is the best friend dynamic here. He doesn't do this with anybody else and get this kind of response like this. And Ashley's like, no, if you're going to throw shit, I'm going to throw it right back at you. That's not how we do this. I fucking love it. I think it's absolutely necessary because she does it and immediately he's like, he's retreating. And she's like, come on. Nope. We're not stopping. Nope. Keep going. Right? I think that's so necessary for...
I mean, it's worth noting that she's kind of right here. Like, the way she handles stuff so surprisingly maturely is because she is literally the reincarnation of him. And, like, so she has it all, she just isn't aware. He's like, fine, you want to know what fucking happened? I'll tell you what fucking happened.
If something's supposed to happen, which is super funny.
And here we go.
I mean, this is outright confirming that it wasn't just like, oh, she was a bit rough and things worked out. No.
Yeah.
She actually raped him. It was
and it goes against things that CJ has previously said too, that he
which
just
shows you how that which is the influence of the Keone part,
and
pushing things.
The repression.
And Victoria, and even on Victoria's part, the repression, like she likely believed it as well, or wanted to at least. But now, like one of the reasons, like Vic, it's notable in the previous couple of chapters ago, Vic immediately spirals into depression. Like she breaks almost instantly when she comes out of it. But this is like what CJ's saying here is really heavy in that he would have accepted, like it didn't need to be like that. But that's the way it ended up being, and it feels weird that it didn't happen like outside of it. I mean, it's worth noting that it's now explicit that she'd been assaulted by her father that morning, so she was clearly going through.
He even mentions that.
Yeah, that morning. So she's like, she hadn't reported it by then because she wouldn't be talking to him. So what happened likely is that she's going through what basically amounts to a minor psychotic break. Like she's burying the trauma and like what happened, and then
lashing out.
And then she lashes out when it kind of makes a turn that she can't handle, and then she falls apart. Like it's not an excuse, but like it makes sense.
And then CJ immediately being like,
Ash was
like, wait, well, yeah, because Ashley's like, wait, you both wanted the same thing. Isn't that good? And he's like, doesn't that make it worse? She would have been happy without me.
Yeah, because if he wasn't there, then Keone wouldn't be manipulating.
And then the fucking line that I sent to everybody when I fucking read it. I was like, the story... She thinks she's a monster, and I'm gonna die because of her. The story began with her, and it'll end with her. Yes, it fucking will, baby. And
because she's the first goddess arc, and she's the last goddess arc. Yeah, she's the first goddess arc and the last goddess arc.
It's not like it's some big surprise, okay? Anon said that it was going to be in reverse for goddess arcs, right?
He could even be, knowing Anon, he could even be referring to, like, literally the last panels of the game.
Yep.
Oh, for sure. And the worst part, she's not the only one. Lee and Teresa, too.
God just made me, I should despise them, but why am I here?
I mean, listen,
because his feelings are not just the ones that were forced onto him, is what I think this is. He needs to come to terms that yes, the goddesses influenced him, but they didn't control him in quite the way that Hayato implied or said, and that Jacob has come to believe.
Sure.
Fucking Hayato, dude. Oh my god, and again, Ashley hasn't been caught up on what's been happening.
This one confuses me a little. I will say this now. It's not really a criticism, but it is odd to me. Like, go into it and I'll listen.
What I mean, I'm gonna continue forward, but what part confuses you?
So, a big important part of chapter 36, after he hooks up with Leia, and then her mother comes to the house and confronts them. And the mom's like, okay, you hate me that much? Here's the knife. Stab me. And Leia says no. And it's a huge moment for Leia that she flashes back to what CJ says about his own mom and his own troubles, and she's like, no, I'm not going to do that because he wouldn't want me to. And then apparently she immediately went back on that and murdered her mother like minutes later.
I think it's after she goes Carpo.
But that's the point, though, right? Like, so, but the point of this is that they are their goddesses, and Leia herself says, "I would do it again." So I just feel like there's a bit of a weird dissonance there.
Well,
of like, why would she make this huge momentous choice and appear like moment, and then blame herself for going back on it when quite clearly she's heavily under Carpo's influence at that point, because Carpo needs her to go post it.
Yes. So I think it was Carpo influence, but I also think, I mean, the
desire was there. But the whole point of that scene beforehand was that she managed to say no to her own impulses.
Yes, she did. But I think then immediately it's also like, she wants it, Carpo wants it, and she's like, the only thing keeping me from not doing it is what CJ wants, right? And then immediately is like, why does it matter?
It undermines that. It undermines the weight.
Well, I think it shows that I think it really is just. I mean, I'd have to replay this scene because you may be completely right. It doesn't seem like that, but it seems like it's more of like a no. He doesn't want me to do that. It's like a struggle, and then immediately it's like.
No, she outright throws the knife away. She drops the knife. And she's like, no, I don't want to do this.
Wait, I thought she doesn't. I know that she says this.
We have a scene of her hacking her mum's head off, but we don't know whether it's like a delusion
I thought
or
that
what.
was no, because I think wasn't that was it? No, I thought it was in the other side that she does that.
That's what I'm saying. It's on the other side she does, but he talks about this like it happens right outside the house, and then the body's in the ditch. And then Carper made him lose time just to hide it, rather than just there's some oddities there.
Yeah. Wait, I totally forgot because I didn't want to say it was real that happened. Carpo made me lose time just to hide it. So it must have happened for real. And then somehow the body disappeared.
Yeah, so that there's maybe if it was dumped in a ditch and he just never saw it when he left.
Because it was by the lake.
This is the place. House? This is the house in the wilderness. Well, not wilderness, but outside.
No, yeah, but the house was by the lake, right? Wasn't that the whole thing?
Yeah, which is where they are.
So she's probably in the fucking lake, or maybe she's not anymore because of how the other side works.
But this is the thing. Like, that's what makes this a little dissonant to me. Like,
interesting that
she's wearing the blindfold.
Yeah, that she's wearing a blindfold.
And Vic was wearing glasses. So.
Well, Vic. Yes, but Vic has always had the glasses. I wonder.
No, not always. Vic wearing glasses is quite.
No.
On the other side.
No.
On the other side, which is where they are.
Specifically, Vic wearing the glasses is her putting on the mask, which has been said before. Mm-hmm. She's never had a blindfold. That's why I bring it up. But it's not like it's that big of a deal. I just think it's interesting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But you see what I mean now about why that's a little dissonant to me that she immediately.
Yeah. So that's the thing, right? Is like. I think because you may be completely right. I'll go back and play 30. What was it? 37.
36.
36.
It's 36.
And see how it played out. Because if she's like, no, I won't do it, and then immediately this is how she really feels. Is if she had a second one, I'd do it again. She's clearly just saying that she doesn't. She's trying to convince herself that she's not going to do it, and then she ends up doing it or something.
Yeah, but the way that whole scene is presented. But that way it just feels weird that she immediately goes back, because that scene is presented as like an emotional turning point.
Well, okay, it does say...
Even Carpo says later on, I can't believe that she did that by not going forward, by not killing her.
I kept looking for her mom after she disappeared. Disappeared makes me think that he didn't see the body or anything like that.
No, he didn't. If it's in the lake, it probably is just gone. Or if it was destroyed in the spiritual process. Because remember... Ayu turns up.
It has been a while since it's been Leia's arc, so maybe we do need to go replay it.
No, I'm fairly clear on my memory of it. It's one of my favorite sequences. I replay it frequently. It came at the cost of someone's life. So, ignoring my concerns for a minute, this is actually a really interesting thing. That, Aya was a terrible person, right? She really was. Like, she was awful to everyone. To most, as tragic as she was, she was awful. Like, in a very real sense, there is a reason there are laws on the books that abused people will not go to prison for killing their abusers in certain contexts, right? Like, there's a reason that's a thing. Self-defense, trauma, insanity defenses, all that stuff is a part of it. So you could even ignoring that, like, there is some degree of, like, CJ assuming responsibility for it is kind of a rough. It's kind of him being CJ, but it's at the same time, like, morally complex, shall we say.
I do think this line is really interesting. You gave Leah freedom, but sometimes that means people.
That is a very good line, very important.
Yep.
It's just really important, you know.
That was her choice, not
but
yours.
does that make Leia truly make her an awful person? Like, I mean, we know from previous chapters that Leia even says, like, when Jamie possesses her and she comes out afterwards, that's what it's like.
Ashley just has the ability to make the things that shouldn't be funny.
She brings a lot of levity. Yeah. But my point was this. My point I was making was that, like,
ooh, good. Yeah, no, keep going.
Yep.
I like this next bit.
You can go to it.
No, I mean, it's just the fact that Ashley can see the dead people now.
Yeah, so she senses them at least. Yeah. It's also interesting they appear as he talks about them.
Yeah. Hector.
Yeah, and they look at him with
Hector,
pity.
dude.
I mean, if they're all in the know as to what they need from him, then it makes a lot of sense they'd look at him with pity.
I like that it gives us the K31 transition for
transition and then into K. But like I said, it's really interesting that, like,
as if for the people that weren't paying attention, by the way.
CJ, that's the thing. CJ thinks they're doing it to haunt him, when in truth they just feel sorry for him, because if they are aware of the plan, like I think they are, working with, then they know just how heavy the burden is that's being placed on him, and also how much he's already suffered because of the interference of various elements.
I felt.
And Ashley showing that, like, she could feel something that even Sarah can't is nuts.
Yeah.
The power of connection, baby.
Not just that, power of being a reincarnate of an insanely powerful shard.
And
skill.
I mean,
skill
where
issue,
they are.
I was gonna say, literally could be just skill issue, and that's not even a joke.
Yeah, genuinely. Maybe that's your gimmick. You've taken all this pretty well.
I always figured there's more going on.
I mean, it shows you that she's not naive. She might be not knowing of things, a little innocent, but she's not naive. The deeper I got, this is just talking about how CJ was gradually realizing, even before everything went, like, shattered and lost itself, that he had a growing awareness of the fact that he wasn't really fixing the underlying problems with the girls.
And now he spills that he's gonna die.
Yeah. A year or two later, yeah.
Which, again, it's not
it's interesting that he has
It's
just, if our interpretations are correct. But the thing is, he's coming off the back of Hayato, and then he thinks that Hebe confirms it. Like, Hebe doesn't deny that he's going to die.
Your mortal life will end.
Yeah,
it's not the same thing as dying.
Yeah, I know. It's just like,
but she needs, for whatever. But he's not prepared to hear her tell
all the
him otherwise.
Here.
But he can't be. But he's not prepared to hear it. That's the thing. If she think about it. If Hebe turned around to him and said, "No, you're going to live. You're going to become like," she's just going to sound like all the other goddesses, which is just going to undermine everything. And he's not ready to hear it. He's still struggling with figuring out who he is.
I'm fine with CJ getting this answer from Hebe. Hebe's not the problem. I just hate that it started with Hayato, because, again, after everything in 50 and 51, how it resolves CJ, you should disregard everything Hayato says to you.
It's really hard, though, when Hayato hones in on his insecurities.
Yes, I know. I don't blame CJ for thinking it. I'm just like,
and there's a lot of circumstantial evidence to support Hayato's conclusions.
Up to and including Crow almost blowing up the planet.
Exactly. Yeah. So, like, it's one of those times where our advantage of our meta knowledge and being emotionally removed to some degree gives us a huge advantage that he simply doesn't have.
No, oh, that's why I'm trying to be fair. I'm like, obviously, none of us would ever trust Hayato because we know too much. But even then, I'm like, I don't know. Nobody could ever really envision themselves in this scenario that CJ's been in for this whole entire fucking story. But I'm just like, why are we putting any fucking faith into what Hayato says at all?
Because
but again,
Hayato often is right in like the information he gathers. It's his conclusions that are flawed.
Can't wait for that to be soundboard.
And he sounds like he knows what he's talking about.
Sure. No, like, I mean, I get it. I just fucking Hayato has haunted every step of our fucking journey.
Trust me, it's very... The problem is, right, is that we know this is a story, right? And it's really easy to see the antagonists as always being incredibly suspicious, and you should never trust them under any circumstances, because that's how you should feel about an antagonist. And that's a mistake a lot of people make with Oot and other stories that go into a bit more complexity.
I mean, again, it's not like there aren't some people that we shouldn't have, like, that doesn't apply to. I mean, we definitely should have applied that to Crow at the beginning, and we didn't. Or some people didn't. I think this next part's really interesting as well with Teresa, because, I mean, CJ says the thing that I've been saying, which is that Teresa bond with Uxo is...
Yeah, I was really happy for you when that popped up, and I was like, yeah, you were right all along. Teresa's in a perfect alignment with her goddess.
Carpo in Kion's relationship was like acceptance and denial,
brutal.
and then like Teresa's was like submitting, like pretty much being like, yes, I'm a part of you, whatever we think needs to happen, like I'm okay with it, right?
I mean, it is worth noting also that Orxo, for all the harm Orxo's done, she's not
great.
She's not malicious, but yes,
no, it's not the same.
Also, this is a good reminder also that Teresa is Ash's best friend.
Yeah,
like they are best friends. Like their bond is very important with each other. You can touch what I can only observe. You could be there. I have only one question for you, Ashley. First, why did you lie to us about what you really are? See, so this is Orxo speaking through her, really. Nor Kroyari. I mean, it's true. Like, despite all the people around them who were paranoid, that no one cottoned on that Ashley was a reincarnate rather than a shard, quotation marks, in the truest sense.
Yep.
Yeah, this is
it's so funny because
honest.
In her realm, you're not supposed to be able to lie.
At least she can tell when you do. At least.
Yeah.
And this is where I started to really think that Ashley is Hebe, and that there was a switcheroo at some point, and that
because you told her not to. You didn't give up your identity. You gave up everything.
I really feel like Ashley is Hebe because of this scene.
Yeah.
And isn't just
that she passed the crown to Ashley Prime, basically.
Yeah. And that...
And likely the reason that the Hebe we know can't remember is that as part of the process, she gave up the memory of doing so. I plan outward, you plan inward. I mean, that... I'm not planning anything, I'm just Ashley. Remember, Ashley, please help me. I don't know if I can do this by myself. So, I mean, this... hate you. Like, Teresa's like... Also like, I never hated you. But this is the thing, as much as harm as Orxo has done, there's never been malice, I think, in her actions.
Yeah.
No. I mean, it's like, okay, theoretically, from what we've heard, Orxo probably has the highest kill count, theoretically. But it's not like she did that on purpose, okay? I'm not...
Yeah.
We don't think Uxo's the worst by any stretch of the imagination. Intent absolutely matters, but actions do too. But, dude, when she smiles like that, dude...
It's the blank eyes.
I know, but I immediately thought like, oh my god, Ashley's gonna get fucking eaten up.
But it's the blank eyes that throw you with Teresa. That's how you know it's Orxo talking, really.
Of course I'll help you. One thing in return.
Speak to which means as Ashley Prime, as Hebe, basically.
Yep.
You need to speak to me as Hebe, is what she's saying.
Please, just a little and
Because doing that is probably the last step, or maybe the first step, depending on how you look at it, of Ashley assuming Hebe's mantle.
Yep.
Like, this is how I
I-
look at that.
So interesting.
That's
This scene right here really reminds me of the scene that Kieran has with Leah whenever they're passing in Carpo's arc, or not Carpo's arc,
Yeah.
in 5051.
Oh, and here it is, boys. The best scene of this update.
Yes. Oh my god, I love it so much.
So good. So good.
You Discord listeners need to pay attention right now.
Yes.
Right now.
CJ back on the edge of Niall's realm talking to Diogen, who, like, man, has that guy suffered. Like, as much as, wow, like, yeah, just from what little we know. So Diogen's like, oh, did you kill him? Did you win? You're alive. No one else
And
has
he's
come back.
gone. And he's gone. And you're back. You won.
Yeah.
I mean,
None of us did. I'm glad you're alive. Like, he doesn't care. Like, he doesn't even get mad or anything. He's just, you've already done something no others could. You've, like, you know, you still breathe. Thus defeat has not swallowed you whole yet. Test its will, make it choke. Yeah, I mean, this is really starting to get into, I think, what's going to be a core part.
does it feel
of
good
CJ.
to say that, CJ?
Yeah,
I'm
but I
curious.
think this is but CJ at the minute, his having given up is more along the lines of I'm going to make them bleed when I go down. Hasn't given up. It's not really I'm going to push forward. But this is, I think, I genuinely believe. Stay with me. I genuinely believe that Diogen's words here, this whole interaction, are going to become a cornerstone of CJ's outlook going forward.
Yeah.
Like that defiance without cruelty, you know? Like it's Diogen has himself suffered and has seen the world suffer so much, and yet he still holds on to a positive view of the future. I found the old ways of my youth at the deepest of my despair, forbidden rituals and ideas that carry the pain of death if discovered. I mean, that really puts in. This is a world where ideas like
love this line.
I love this so much. Forbidden rituals and ideas that carry pain of death if discovered. Are they dangerous? Compassion, trust, benevolence. Yes, they are dangerous.
Yes, yeah, because
so good.
And it's true.
To those
like
lost
their
to
power,
madness.
their power can you just can't, even in the real world, like being able to like demonstrate compassion can give you the access to things and change things that you can't even imagine.
What a bizarre, interesting model he is.
Yeah. One felt like the lady in Greece. So like, yeah, he learned about the other goddesses from the old rituals, presumably, at least in some form. But he was most connected to
the one
Hebe.
who eliminated all doubt from my mind with one single vision.
Single vision.
A world I could never imagine.
And you'd think at this point that he's talking about some kind of vast utopia, but he's not.
No.
He's just talking about a world that isn't fucked into this awful state. He's just talking about a normal life. And yeah, you can make statements about, oh, it's just, it's just innocence and naivete, but that's the cruel cynicism that he's railing against talking. Like, just because you enjoy simple, beautiful pleasures doesn't make it lesser than any other thing. Like, cynicism is such a convenient shield against emotion, giving a damn about anything. And it's just really, really beautiful, this whole speech from Diogen. He sees the world, and that echoes also what Rodell was said to CJ last chapter about how it, but it's seeing what could be and how that's what you want to strive for. This is a really important line. The old ways tell us that in this forest, the sun will rise for the first time, and the first sign of the sun will appear. That's really an unsubtle reference.
Husband
and king to the moon. That's an important line because that's Tsukiko right there.
Yeah. If you pay attention to the story at all, it's wherever he.
But the fact that this is ancient knowledge locked away shows you like that they're like even on like it connects to the stuff that we get talked about earlier when
I do find it interesting now that we know the I wonder how important important Niall's world is, really. If it's going to be the stage of the second game, like, is this world? Is this world have more? Like, if this is, hold on. He says, hold on. Diogen here says this forest will be the first place that the sun will shine whenever it comes back. Right? Essentially, what he's saying.
Yeah.
So, I mean, whether or not he's being metaphorical or not, I mean, this specific place at the edge of the world where no one else.
Or I mean, it could be talking to the world in general, but yes.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's very important.
Well, I mean, my guess, one interpretation could be that he chases Niall here after Niall, like, because if Niall like starts to lose, he's going to retreat to where he feels most powerful, which is here.
Mm-hmm.
So it would not surprise me if he comes here, defeats Niall, and then this is also where he embraces becoming the heir to OG, which of course, like, one of his first acts is going to be to heal things as best he can.
The veil of blood and tyranny has engulfed everything except this patch.
Yeah, I mean, this is literally a world where hope doesn't exist. Like, it's literally cruelty to hope in the first place. So even the ideas of, like, compassion and trust and not just butchering each other. Like, even his body is a monster, but his soul is pure. Like, this is really, really so powerful. These lines, oh god. I know it to be true, even should I think you were brought here because you needed to know it too. And like, yeah, this is exactly what CJ needs to hear. He's not ready to, like, accept it yet, but he needs to hear it. Because these words will resonate with him, I think, when in future chapters. I hope. See, even now, just he wants to believe it, and all he needs to do is find a way to start doing so.
That's the first step. Wanting to believe.
Exactly.
That's way better.
Change.
That's way better than not doing it at all.
Yep.
And
this is another great.
Of course, it isn't.
Would evil worm its way into the hearts of men were it a trivial matter? It is easy to see the world and those who inhabit it as broken, cruel, and despising. It is far more difficult task to seek hope even in the darkest of hours.
Ugh.
Such an important line. Like, if you take nothing away from Oot as a whole, let alone this chapter, those words, I encourage you to enshrine in yourself. Like,
fucking love this character.
I'm sure plenty of people are rolling their eyes as I say this and as we talk about this, but you know what? I feel sorry for you if you do.
The harder to still is it to see the godliness, in those most deserving of spite. So true.
Which echoes Misaki's forgiveness of Crow.
You will not defeat Niall by accepting his own philosophy. Hatred and rage are his ally, not ours.
Not ours.
You are so like him, and yet within
so different. That will be all you require.
Simply don't believe it.
It's just he's just on point again and again and again.
Enjoyed our top traveler.
I hope we do as well.
I hope we do.
I'm so glad to know that he survives, and we're going to see him again at least in Oot.
Oh, here we fucking go. A little bit of hopium before your fucking ultra.
Before the soul crushing begins.
Literally.
Look at him, fucking showboat. Actually, no, they're all showboaters.
Hey, look, those rings on his.
I will fucking murder you.
Thank you.
They're not. Okay, anyway.
I just was pointing out that they're colored.
It's interesting that Niall knows who Diogen is, though, which is interesting. And he calls him a monster.
A true. Well, he says a true believer. He is perhaps the only one left. Very interesting that he refers to him as a true believer instead of like a heretic or something.
It's almost like there's some small part of Niall that knows how far he's fallen, you know?
Sure. I mean, again, Diogen just said, like, he is so similar. Him and CJ are similar in a lot of ways. It's hard to think that, you know, there's not some. I mean, this guy's an OG shard. I mean, OG wasn't bad. He had a lot of. I mean, we talked about it earlier. You know, could be wrathful or whatever, but there's got to be some part of him that's like missing, not being a fucking darkness-consuming.
Jacobs, yeah. I mean, this is where we get the first real pushback on all we've learned from Hebe so far and her being honest with us.
Well, this is the same thing of, like, us learning stuff about the goddesses and then immediately Hayato being like, well, actually, did you know that, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, maybe Hayato's telling the truth, maybe he's not. And maybe from his perspective he is. Same thing with Niall.
Do you know why she let us?
I'm more I don't believe Niall here when he says this stuff, but with how he reacted whenever he and CJ first met, of him being like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" I'm keeping her like how he was talking to CJ, like, you have no idea what you're talking about, and then CJ talking to him and him being like, "Well, I have no idea what you're talking about." makes me really like interested in his perspective here.
Well, he's here because I assume that she told him about the blade at some point, and that's why it's probably even what he wanted. Like, I bet she told him about the blade. He wanted to go claim it, and she said no.
Promised him the blade, and then he wanted to go to different worlds.
In his mind, it was a promise, but did she promise him, or did she say, one day you're going to get this blade, but you're not ready yet? And he's like, what do you mean I'm not ready yet? I've brought peace to the world. I have all this power.
I conquered this planet.
No, it's just fucking Anakin. It's like, you promised me a seat on the council, and now I'm fucking here, and you're not going to give it to me? I grant you the rank of king, but you don't get the
I grant you the position of heir to the power, but I do not give you the power.
I grant you the
God
position
I
of
am
heir,
meant to
not
be,
there.
and that you are a pale imitation of. See, it's wild that he's like, you're a monochrome, right? And that CJ's got
but that's just
5
but
colors.
then he doesn't see it that way because he thinks he's going to get all that anyway, so he doesn't.
Yeah.
I mean, it was really funny, his reaction to. Also, was that always there? But yes. Behind, in front of the 8?
Yeah, it was. The 8 was there on its own.
I remember the 8 being there.
Yeah, the thing in front of it is new. I suspect it's the clasp on his cloak. That's all.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, regardless, no, it's really funny because even he was like, "There's a 5th ring? What the fuck?"
I love that line. 5? There are 5 colors?
I didn't even know that. He knows that there's 4, but he didn't know that there's a 5th.
Because it's not meant for you, buddy.
We were only see, this is where he thinks that this is what it's about. Though I suspect he doesn't know that she probably tried to do it before and it didn't work. A slave of Mara, and this is where he gets what? But it's interesting that Mara pop up behind him when we get this, and his eyes change color as well. They go white.
The way that the Mara appear around people and not like inside of them or like by them always leads me to believe that like they're just right out of reach. They're right out of sight. They're always
they're puppet masters.
Which is
how
I viewed it when we were talking about Crow earlier. I'm like, they probably surrounded her, but she never fucking knew. At least not the way she was back then.
Because they're manifestations of despair, and that's all you feel. Of course, you're blind to it. And they're right. I think CJ and Niall are both kind of right here in different ways.
I think so too. That's why I brought up how he talked when we first met him. Like, CJ was right about some stuff, and then Niall was right about some stuff whenever they both talk. They don't have all the information.
And they're both influenced by their perspectives, especially Niall. He says I'm not a slave of the Mara, but then he doesn't understand what that means. Like, to him, slave probably has very specific connotations, right?
Yeah.
And it's something he could never see himself as. He doesn't imagine he could ever be played or manipulated in the way that I think they have.
You're not doing what they order you to do, but you're doing exactly what they want you to do.
Right. Yeah, I've crushed and cut and bled. Yet those eyes were just behind him just then.
Yeah, I am undefeatable.
Even with this statement, he's like, they are innumerable, but I am undefeated. Or like, it's like, so eventually you're going to be undefeated forever.
But that's how he's been feeding his power. He's been killing Mara off from at the edge of his realm.
Which,
so
again,
in many ways,
where do we think the Mara? Again,
but that shows that he didn't save his realm to preserve it particularly. That was just a secondary consequence. That field of Mara outside of his world is there to be eaten.
Their corpses are nothing but fuel at my heavenly kingdom. I took the power she would not grant. And with it, I will rule all of creation.
So yes, he thinks
where do you think the Mara got that power, buddy?
Right?
Like, he really believes that if he took it by force, that
right of a conqueror,
that it means that like that is beyond their influence now. Like, you can't be corrupted even if it is though. Turning him against Hebe is what they really wanted. They wanted to turn him on Hebe.
Even if you want to be generous and say that the Mara are feeding off of the power of the other goddesses and other entities that are of light, but even if you don't want to be, like, the Mara are of all the bad things, pain, fear, despair, whatever you want to call it. Like, that energy is not good. Why would you, like, come on, why would you
Trash goes in, trash comes out. Like, if that's what you're gonna burn,
you're full of,
then...
like, I'm not joking. I think,
and even if we take it at face value that he's right, that yes, it's not their innate essence and he's not corrupted by that. It's not about that. It's about mentality, right? They showed him a path to power by eating them that was outside of EB's control.
People were happy in his world before. Like, we saw...
Right.
Like,
yeah, but this is they showed him a path to power by devouring, right? And he thinks that he can, like, devour everything to gain the power he needs to ascend, and that he deserves it.
The Mara were probably like, you need to devour your world.
But that's all they needed him to do.
In order to become God.
They don't even need to tell him that, though, right? This is all about indirect. Like, think about
they just stood in opposition to him, knowing that he would try to they would
eat them, because he'd be like, oh, I'll beat you. He beats them. He starts eating them.
We do need to move
and he's like, oh, this is a path to power. Let's start devouring everything around me as a path to power. Like, this is how real high level manipulators work, right? They don't, like, walk up to you and tell you how to do things. They literally lead you to the conclusions that they want you to have. It's what Hayato tries to do multiple times.
You really don't know, do you?
I agree there. Mara isn't a god. They aren't people. They aren't souls. I cannot.
I see. Okay. So here's the thing: is I don't know if I agree with him about that at all.
No, I think he's right. I think they aren't souls. I think that they are thought demons.
I think you're right. I think that they embody negative emotion and stuff like that, and all the bad things, thought demons, whatever you want to call them.
But they're not human souls. They're not.
No, but they're not human souls. But I think that in order to have power, you have to have some sort of fucking, like, something.
Spiritual
it has to be something.
Like, but it's conceptual. It's they're manifestations of an emotional conception space.
Yeah.
When he says the gap between worlds, bear in mind he doesn't have our understanding of space. He probably means the gap between realities.
Yeah. Everything that.
But they also didn't exist before, right? So
not just my world, but your worlds.
I think it's important to remember that the Mara didn't exist before. So that
not as they understand them.
Yeah. So that space between worlds, the darkness,
is the other side.
The result. Oh no, but it's the but they didn't exist before the shattering. That darkness is not equivalent to the spaces in between. It's just because there's no more light anymore. Light was what filled before. Is how I read that.
Yeah.
Because if they didn't exist,
the sun is gone. The sun is gone.
So
that makes sense.
That again, don't know if it's true. That leads me to think that the Mara are similar to fairies than we believe. That's
no. I think you're halfway right. No, I don't think of that. Think about it, okay? He says it. Niles says it just there. Go back a line. Go back a line. Leaving nothing alone for long enough, it grows eyes. Okay, so if we imagine, like you said, conceptually, Elanath is the sun. He's light. Conceptually, it means he was at the center of the constellation, and his light was cast everywhere. But then that light was gone. There was darkness, and then eventually, because that darkness is of the other side, the absence of hope, of glory, and all that stuff, probably perpetuated by the goddess's own degradation.
Yeah.
That is what allows Mara to come into existence.
We talked about it last episode.
Not as Fae,
the idea that the Mara,
but as their own entities.
Like, the idea that thought demons could exist and that entities that are, like, the goddesses that are constantly suffering aren't powering them up. Like, why didn't we think of this before? Right? Like, that's literally what would happen.
Right.
Insane. Omen, did you have something?
No, I was in agreement with the theory. Yeah,
Anyway, let's move on. Keep moving on because we are now at 3 hours.
Hey,
there is no escaping Mara. There is no. But this is funny because he talks about fighting them.
No, I disagree.
And then he says,
I
know, but he's talking about violence. That's what the thing is.
He talks about violence, like I will never lose, but also they can't be defeated.
Which just shows you how self-defeating this is. Like. He talks about how he'll fight them forever, and it's just like
he will be as infinite as they.
And he's wrong. All there was, or will ever be, are just bubbles in an endless ocean of the darkness of the Mara. And he just doesn't know. He doesn't know.
Yeah, he doesn't understand
Because he's the frog in the well. He's literally a guy who was trapped on one world, and he's formed his own conclusions according to his own mentality.
We are not but infinitesimal creatures under their fingernails. Yeah, see, he's giving the Mara way too much credit. Like, again, it's not like the credit he's giving them is crazy to think about. These entities do exist probably in the way that he's seeing them. They're endless. They are the space.
But he doesn't understand the other side. He doesn't understand the other side the way he thinks.
I choose to fight.
Because he's never really explored it. He doesn't understand. But his arrogance is so great, he could never acknowledge that.
So, I choose the only choice is to give into despair or fight an endless
Which is
struggle.
just the same thing. He's saying the same thing in two different ways.
And then he's like, what? And he's like, oh, she didn't tell you. Well, in truth, she probably hadn't told me either. But she didn't even know what the fucking Mara were. I mean,
right, which is weird. She may have talked about conceptually what they were, but I doubt she truly understood it.
Maybe just the absence of the light.
Yeah, and then he extrapolated from
here's
that.
The thing, though, is we know that the Mara can hide from the goddesses. It's like Hebe's staring out into the darkness and knows that there's something there. And she mentions that she knows of them, just doesn't know what they are. They've been hiding from her because if they want to get their plans through, the God of Understanding needs to not fucking understand.
Not just that, she's also the only God who's still sane and intact and probably able to directly oppose them.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, all the goddesses
of course they want her
entities
locked away
of light.
on a backwater.
None of the goddesses, you might be able to make the argument with Kion, but none of the goddesses embody darkness at all. Like, it's
in
intentional.
That same way.
It's intentional.
Yeah.
Like, the black hole is, like, consuming everything.
Niall thinks that he's just as here as bait, because he doesn't conceptually understand someone willing to make a self-sacrifice move.
Yeah.
Because he places himself above all others.
And of course...
Whoops!
That render, by the way, is not supposed to be there. It won't be there in the public version.
No, it's fine. It's just the flashing of Sarah is really funny.
Horrified Sarah. Yeah, no, that's not going to be there. There was a small accident.
Seema.
But it's interesting that he gets Seema. Like, he doesn't pick anyone else. He picks Seema.
He looks for not just what is there, but what isn't there.
Yeah.
A very useful song. But yes, they go for. This is where they take their shot, and it doesn't really work. But this shows that we were wrong. He could devour other OG shards before. They never reached him, probably because they couldn't through the seal. So we were wrong in that. So this is his first time getting more than one ring. He now has two because he stole Seema's Kione ring. But it's interesting that his hand doesn't glow. Maybe we just can't see it through the gloves.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, I don't see any outline on the glove or on the other hand either.
Maybe it's a cock ring. Anyway.
Why would you say
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he's not. I wouldn't be surprised if he's into denial play. He seems to type, get it? Denial play.
It's funny.
But here we get to see Myrna doing some power move, and she's actually like to be really strong for a fae. So, like, she's meant to be on par with like Sarah and even kind of some level of Crow.
I mean, the only thing separating the fairies is just time and power. Again, it's the same
and she's
sort of
very
concept.
old apparently.
Yeah,
but it's really interesting to see that he uses Kione's power straight away and just nukes them. And this is where he realizes that
see Alan.
Can't
yep.
work. Yeah, this
Alan
is when he realizes.
Yeah,
this isn't going to work.
Right, and now he's getting away. They don't have a way to open up the door without.
Yeah, because they need two people at least, even if one of them's got 4 rings. So he's like, this needs to be done. There's no other way.
I love this screenshot.
I might be starting. Yeah, it's interesting that he's like, yeah. I don't take that at face value at all, but we'll see. And then.
Yep.
The moment that so many people are just going to go, Alan's such an asshole. He's so evil.
I mean, look. Okay, this action isn't great. Let's go ahead and say.
Yeah,
it's bad. It's bad. There should have been another way. But realistically, what are we doing right now?
They're not exactly. They don't exactly have time to sit around and have a powwow to solve this.
Yep.
it's not an excuse for his actions, but it does make them understandable. But it really shows that even Mika is taken aback by that. Like, she's like, what the hell have you just done?
Again, yeah, she has the right to be horrified, but let's not forget last chapter, or the chapter before, she was like, you can kill all of them, just please don't kill him. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Let's try to remember who we're talking about here.
Yeah.
Oh, but it still sucks.
Yeah. I mean, Rodell was a very likable character, so... But this is also technically the first time we see...
Which is interesting, so
CJ,
it looks
CJ gets a core. He absorbs... I know it's only the remnant, but he does absorb.
Yeah, because it looks like because Alan saw Niall do it. Niall seems like it took all of Seema's, and Seema just vanished. Yes. But it looks like Alan did it either not all the way or improperly.
Probably just didn't have the
Actually,
raw power
you know what? I'll tell you what
necessary.
right now. I'll give Alan the benefit of the doubt. He purposely didn't take all of Rodell. He just took a little bit.
Oh wow!
Or
maybe allowing him to survive.
That's probably
really
generous.
giving him a lot.
That's a lot of generous.
I don't actually think that. I'm just saying, like, if you wanted to be generous, you could make the argument.
I think he just wasn't as he just isn't as powerful.
Yeah. It's more likely he just wasn't as capable. I know.
Yeah.
I'm not fully on the Alan did nothing wrong train, but I mean, acting like this wasn't an Alan, like an honestly logical move in the position that we were in, is not reading.
Shattered
What's
Mask,
left of my
Shattered
soul.
Mask playing? This is Shattered Mask playing, isn't it?
I don't know. The last time you said that, somebody called you out.
I was wrong. I know. I was
trying to remember.
Pretty sure it is.
I think. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. And this is also really important in its own way, though, because it's further reinforcing that CJ is more than just who he thinks. He thinks so little of himself right now.
And the light goes out of his eyes.
And the light goes out. But look at it, but his amber ring glows. Up.
And it didn't for Alan or for
Exactly.
Niall.
They grabbed this ball and then basically ate it. But CJ seemed to go straight into his ring.
Yep.
Well, because I have a theory. We saw that Niall couldn't do the same thing to CJ, and I wonder if where that resides, CJ doesn't have a place for it. So the energy would immediately go to Teresa's
if that place is what's held by Elena.
Yeah, it could be him. It could be
that it goes to the ring because that ring is it's like reinforcing the bond ring itself.
Oh, that's true. Well, actually, I wonder if it does that actually because he actually has
a ring
to that power, and then the other two didn't.
So this just reinforces it. It just reinforces it. That would make sense too. It could be both. It could be one.
Because CJ didn't.
But here we see CJ about to go postal mode.
Yep. Remember what Diogen said.
Yeah.
Remember what Diogen said.
That's right, baby. Oh man.
What a chapter, guys.
Yeah.
But, okay, do we have anything we want to talk about? We kind of did it in the chapter rather than at the end.
I think we talked about mostly everything. If we forgot something, I'm sure we'll mention it next episode. I thought.
Yeah.
I for the next chapter, I do wonder what's going to happen, because unlike the other chapters, I kind of had a sort of idea. I had some idea where we're going next.
Well,
we're walking into the sword room door, whatever you want to call it, and now we just don't know what's happening. So
there's so many ways this could. We've talked a lot about how we think things are going to end, but the mechanics of it are a complete mystery.
Oh, for sure. That's the thing that you can't be surprised of whenever it happens. Alan killing Rodell there, nobody could have predicted that.
Yeah,
but
did not get that one.
Nobody was going to predict that. Their rivalry and them not liking each other was a personality thing. Alan had never shown inclination of wanting to fucking kill somebody on the team.
And I think this wasn't about killing Rodell. This was just about getting the job done.
Which again, they all agreed to at the beginning, right? They were.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that what he did was good, but they all agreed this needs to happen to save everybody's world. And so,
ironically, I think if they had talked about it, quite likely
Rodell
they would have
Rodell would have given himself up for sure, 100%.
But the fact that we didn't talk about it first makes it, shocking and pretty awful.
And it's because Alan, like you said earlier, Alan sees himself as a monster. Alan sees himself as a bad guy.
And
he's a bad person who failed.
Why not let it be him that does the bad guy thing?
Exactly. Right. A little bit of martyrdom.
Which is itself just a spin-off from his desire to end himself because of his grief and pain.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching another episode. Thank you, Omen, for joining us once again. Pleasure to have you.
We did want to have you
every
again
single
because...
fucking time you're on, these episodes go really long for some reason. I don't know what's going on.
But they're good. There's lots to talk about, and I think this time it was good because this chapter and the previous chapter very much flow into each other.
These chapters acted like the dual chapters, which we will be getting.
Yeah.
At the end of when?
December. In December, so it's 2 months to make this chapter because it's the finale and it's a very long one.
Get ready for 58, ladies and gentlemen, because it is going to be a fucking doozy.
It is going to be a hell of a moment for sure.
Well.
But yes, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us.
Thank you for watching.
Rayze and Techno and our guest speaker Omen. Next time will be Kaz. He pre-booked 58 a long while ago.
Oh, he did. He booked that like 7 chapters ago.
Yeah, even before the end of Kieran's arc, I think.
Yeah, that was a while ago. So
we'll have Kaz on for that one, and
we'll see if we can get out some retrospectives.
We'll see if we can churn out a few retrospectives. We're at the cusp of Jamie's arc really taking off, so we'll see how that goes.
All right. Thank you all for watching. Goodbye.
Thank you, everyone. Goodbye.